Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Probably only gentlemen. Today is September 10th, and week one is in the books, and
Yeah.
it's Coastal knows ball, Coast knows ball ahead of you, and we have a bunch of stuff to talk about. We're gonna review week one. We're gonna preview week two. I have a lot of shit to say about the Dolphins, and um yeah, I hope I don't spend too much time on it because we do have a lot on our plate. Then I wanna make sure I devote all of me to each of the games. But I am an angry Dolphins fan. But before I get to that, I want to ask how you guys are doing because yeah, you guys are more important than me in this episode.
Well, hey, that's a little crazy to say. We are all equal contributors every week, every Wednesday evening.
What a
But
leader!
it's been a
What a
fine
goat.
it's been a fine enough day, a fine enough week. The Niners clawed out a victory. It was gritty, it was ugly, but we'll take the ugly wins as long as we can move on to next week and improve from them. So yeah,
I,
we're doing
I
good.
would take a monstrous win right now. The horrible,
You know,
the worst win you can
I
think of.
do
I would
s-
take it.
I, I do still think that I have the worst heartbreak as far as sporting events in the last week goes, and it's not that I'm trying to one up Broofy here. It's just the Royals got within a half game of the wild card, and then Bobby Witt Jr. went down with a day-to-day injury,
Hmm.
so he missed 6 games. And over those 6 games, we went 1-5, and now we're 4 games back with 17 games left, and we're basically out of the race now.
Oh, that's lovely.
Yeah, before we
Yeah.
get into football, just because this is a
Wait,
sports spin-off show, let's talk baseball for a couple minutes here.
yeah, but
Um,
before you start on that, you got a cut. Is that what I'm seeing? You
oh
got a
yeah,
cut?
yes, I
Oh
did.
yeah,
I
oh
did
yeah.
it
That boy looking fresh.
all by
Oh
myself.
my,
I cut my own
no
hair.
my.
Fuck
Oh
the $30
shucks.
haircut. No way. If I can do it for free, I'm gonna do it for free. So yeah,
Impressive.
yeah. Left the top alone. Next time, I'll probably trim the top off as well. But yeah, so I think I did an okay job. But yeah.
Look at my guy. Look at my guy.
Hell yeah, looking
What a
good,
guy.
Anthony.
Thank you, thank you. Yeah, so the standings for the MLB playoff race, essentially, right now. You got the Phillies leading the East. They're probably very close to winning the division at this point. I think there's 17 games of play left for most teams, so yeah, the Mets are 10 games back. They currently hold the third wild card spot. The Brewers are winning that
Mm.
division in the NL Central. Really great second half surge. They were playing good ball in the first half, but post All Star break is when they really got white hot, especially post trade deadline as well with those acquisitions. The
Yeah.
Cubs currently possess the fourth seed in the National League and the first wild card seed. So, they have slowed down a little bit from a hot start, but they're still winning more than enough games to almost have clinched a wild card spot at this point. It's got to be close. And then the
Yep.
Dodgers leading the National League West. Though again, pretty cold right now. So are the Padres, but they possess the fifth seed in the NL division race. The teams in the hunt, though, my Giants, are getting real close. Getting real close. Now, I don't know if the Mets are winning right now. They lost again. Oh my God, that's huge because the Giants lost today as well. So that means we're still 2 games back from the final wild card, and we're currently the first team out. Then it's the Reds and the Cardinals and the Diamondbacks, some combination of that. But if the Mets keep
Mm-hmm.
losing and the Giants stay hot, there's a real possibility now with
I think
17
the
to play.
Rangers are the first team out on the American side, but the Royals do have a series still against the Mariners, so they could gain ground in that series if they were able to sweep it.
Yeah, very possible. It's tough with baseball because you're like, okay, they're only a few games back, but then you just think about how difficult it is to get that swing going, to
You have to
win
be
three
three
games,
games better than that team over a 17-game span.
and that's
Like,
really
that's
tough.
hard to
Yeah,
do,
yeah, 100%. Um,
especially when every other team is giving their A effort right now because it's a playoff hunt.
right, right, exactly. So in the AL though, in the AL East, we got the Blue Jays winning that division so far. No signs of them really slowing down, especially for the Yankees to be able to catch up at least. Maybe the Red Sox can if they get super hot again. But yeah, so the Blue Jays are leading the division right now. The Yankees and the Red Sox are the wild card teams for that division. The AL Central, the Tigers are handily winning that division right now, up 9.5 to the Guardians, and that'll probably be what
It's
remains.
basically lock.
Yeah, pretty much. And they've been an excellent team all season. And then the AL West, we got the Astros leading the division right now with the Mariners just a game and a half behind, and the Rangers just a game behind the Mariners. So that's going to be a really
I could
tight
honestly
race.
see the Rangers somehow jumping this and winning the division.
It's possible. Yeah, they're playing really good baseball right now. Super exciting stuff.
Rangers and Giants are the two hottest teams in baseball.
Yeah, I'm telling you, the Giants are must-see baseball right now. Not only just because they're winning and stuff, but they are a very exciting team. Willie Adames is 2 home runs away from 30 home runs, and even though Devers hit 30 this year, we're not really counting that one because he hit half of them basically with Boston. But the 30 home run curse is what I'm referring to here. We have not had a hitter on the Giants break 30 home runs since Barry Bonds. So if Willie
been a
Adames
long
does
time.
that this season, where he's two home runs away, that would be absolutely huge. And pretty much everybody on the offense is on a tear right now. They're all hitting well, which is excellent. And Drew Gilbert is the craziest hype man of all time. Have you guys seen some of his highlights?
I have not.
He is a menace, dude. We acquired him from the Mets in the Tyler Rogers trade, and this guy is just absolutely insane. Here's a video of him doing this crazy.
This is unbelievable.
There he is chewing on Robbie Ray's shirt.
That has to be your favorite player.
Dude,
Gosh.
he is such an awesome presence, and I think that's part of the reason why they're playing so well. It's just they're just so loose and just full of energy right now, and that's part of why there's such must-see baseball. Like if Matt Chapman hits a home run, you know that Drew Gilbert's getting choked out in the dugout. Like every time it's happened, that's what's happened. It's so funny, and yeah, it's just a really really cool attitude through the whole thing. And Willie Adames has kind of been that guy for us this whole season too. So it's nice to have just really positive vibes, and even if we don't make it in the playoffs, super optimistic about next season.
Nice.
Absolutely. It's always good to set a winning standard whenever you're trying to change the culture and set that going into the next season.
Yeah.
But I want to take this time to highlight possibly the greatest catching offensive season of all time from Cal Raleigh here. This is just incredible. He's 2 home runs away from breaking the switch hitter single season home run record, and he's 1 home run away from taking Ken Griffey's single season home run record for the Mariners
Yeah, he's been
at
unreal.
the catcher position.
Unreal.
That is crazy work.
OPS plus of 161. Try
At
that on
catcher.
for size. Yeah. It's
Still
it's
has less
wild.
more than Bobby though.
It's wild. It's wild. Well, Ward does not like catchers very much, but I mean,
No, it does not.
Bobby's having an excellent year too. Don't get it twisted.
No,
but-
Cal Raleigh is definitely above Bobby. I'm not trying to convince you that way.
right, yeah. But yeah, so I'm excited about the playoff race. It should be a fun postseason regardless. It's nice to have.
Wait,
like,
holy shit. Raleigh has 14 stolen bases this
Yeah.
year too.
yeah,
I didn't know that.
yeah.
Big Dumper can move.
Yes, he can. You know, sometimes having a big ass makes you run fast. You know, it's nice.
I wonder how many times he's been caught. He's only been caught 4 times. What a legend, bro.
Good base stealer.
Dude, we had this kid on our team. His name was I'm not gonna say his name, but he's a good guy. You know, we had this guy on our team in high school, and he's like 5'10", but he was like 260 his sophomore year. And this kid had 20 stolen bases just because he could read pitchers like a book. He was so good at getting the first step, and so he never got caught, and he had like 20 stolen bases.
Nice.
Fucking legend. Now he's actually like, he lost a lot of weight. Now he's fucking jacked, and I'm just like impressed with it. But yeah, he always had a good eye for for when he was stealing bases.
Very cool. Very cool. Yeah. It's always nice to see a big guy doing well. Got to represent.
Facts.
But anyway, yeah. Watch some baseball. It's a lot of fun actually, contrary to what everyone will tell you. Anyway,
It's a great pastime.
yeah, America's pastime even.
Yep.
Yeah.
But Vitor, let's hear the Dolphins rant. I know you're itching to tell us, so let's hear what you got to say about your disastrous NFL team.
Disastrous NFL team is the perfect way to put it. If I had to put it in one sentence, it would be that. I didn't even have to speak, quite frankly. But in all honesty, I'll separate it in two parts, the rant. How I feel as a fan and what I would do. Okay? If I'm the owner of the Miami Dolphins and thinking about this objectively, like actually what should I do with this franchise? I feel very like lied to and cheated on because like I'm so confused. I am so confused. How do you go through 7 months of preparation and said preparation does not exist? And then, listen, I get it. We're all human, okay? But then to see McDaniel and Tua talk about how the game went after the press conference made it way worse for me. Way worse for me. They're both leaders of this team, and they're supposed to, lead this team. They're supposed to be the face of what this team is supposed to represent. McDaniel, in long story short, basically interpreted this loss as rust. Okay? They need to knock off the rust. Okay? And Tua took very little kind of accountability. And to me, it is so weird. Not just that a quarterback is not taking accountability, but that Tua isn't taking accountability. Tua has always been a guy to take accountability. And ever since he's taken his contract, he has not.
Maybe it is McDaniel's fault, and Tua's just over it too.
I don't want to terrorize. Maybe people have been saying they're not playing because they want to get rid of McDaniel. Like I don't think that's what it is. I think it's a little much. But when it comes to Tua, to me he clearly changed his demeanor after he got his contract, and I think it's inexcusable. You're not obviously all of these guys want to get paid. They get paid for a reason, but I thought Tua was a guy that loved the game. Like, isn't that why the fuck he didn't decide to retire? Maybe it was just him trying to get his bag, and that's what it seems to me. He overcame a challenge in the guy's bag and really changed his behavior to me. So seeing those stances after the game, Tua not taking accountability for the loss and McDaniel saying it was just rust, kind of drove my gears. Especially when a reporter correctly told Tua that whenever Tua does have interceptions, they usually come in bulks, as in when he has one turnover in a game, he usually has 2 or 3 in a game, right? I mean, you look at it last year. Last year he had 7 interceptions, and those came across 3 games. Do you understand how ridiculous that is? He only had interceptions in 3 games, but in those 3 games we lost because of him, right? So then the season starts exactly like that. They kick a field goal. Tua has a very bad overthrow. And I didn't mind that throw when I was watching the game live because, maybe that was some rust. And overthrowing, he usually makes that pass. I let it go, okay? The fumble in the next fucking drive drove me gears, dog. Holy shit, he looked slow in the pocket, man. Oh, my God. And then the second interception to Laiatu. I mean, unbelievable. Terrible throw. I don't want to linger.
The second interception was straight.
It was
to
bad.
The Colts
It was
defender.
bad. And I mean, we're talking about Laiatu. I love Laiatu, but that's not his game, dog.
Yeah.
And it's not his game. And I don't want to focus on the game too much. That's my feeling as a fan. I'm very frustrated with how they head into week 1. Nothing about that game except for maybe 2 or 3 players make me feel good about going into the next game. I'm still gonna pick them. I'm that much of an idiot, but really frustrating week 1. Now on to what I would do as an owner, and this is what I've been thinking ever since the game finished. I'm like, what is the direction of this franchise? Because to me, as a fan, it's very easy to be upset with a loss, be angry right? But then understand what can be realistically done,
Right.
and then what's realistically going to happen. So if I'm the owner today, there's some factors I need to consider. So my general manager is Chris Greer. My head coach is Mike McDaniel. My quarterback is Tua. And my backups are Zach Wilson and Quinn Ewers. And I say this because if Tua keeps playing like this, he's going to get benched. And it's not going to take too long if he keeps playing like this. So with Chris Greer, and then Tyreek Hill, because obviously that was another factor I forgot to mention. Lots of trade rumors going around because obviously the franchise is moving towards a rebuild. And Tyreek is obviously the biggest trade piece we have.
Mm-hmm.
So what is so bad about the direction with this franchise? I mean, it can just be a normal rebuild, like every single franchise goes through a rebuild. So what is the problem with the rebuild for the Miami Dolphins right now, as it stands? Chris Green and Mike McDaniel are fighting for their jobs. I think they know this. I don't know how much to an extent they know this and how urgently they're working, but I think they both know that they're working for their jobs right now. So Chris Greer is going to do everything in his power to improve this team. Just signed Cole Strange, for instance. O-line is beat up. We just got Cole Strange, probably going to start, or at least back up. He's going to be in the game week 2. So clearly he's trying to do. I don't want to say good things about Chris Greer because I'm pissed off at Chris Greer, but he's trying to do something to improve this football team right now. Okay. That being said, if Chris Greer and Mike McDaniel are fighting for their jobs, they're not trading Tyreek Hill. It's plain and simple. If there is any chance of this team making a comeback and the miracle of doing something this season, they're going to need Tyreek. And I'm going to talk about Tyreek and Waddle later because they played phenomenal week 1. The ball never got to them. They were always open. I have never seen anything like it. Watch the film. Always open. Ball never got to them. I don't know what Tua was doing. It makes me think, watching that game, how Tua was reading the field, that he's actually trying to bring Mike McDaniel down. Because I've seen Tua for years now. He's not that bad. I'm pissed off at Tua. But the talent is there. There's no shot he misses Waddle and Tyreek open all game like that. I cannot fathom that. It's unbelievable. So,
what happened is Tua and Bryce Young got their talent sucked away by the Space Jam basketball, unfortunately.
I'll talk about Bryce Young because I'm actually upset about him as well. So, Chris Greer is not trading Mike McDaniel. And not Mike McDaniel, not trading Tyreek Hill. And maybe you guys can help me out with this because I couldn't find this out. But I know a GM can be fired in the middle of the year, and obviously the head coach as well. But can I, as the owner, interview someone from another front office to be my GM in the middle of the year? Is that possible?
I don't think so. I think that's tampering.
That's exactly what I was thinking as well. So what Steven Ross is probably gonna have to do is
promote within.
What? It's promote within. But then, there should be a total cleanup. You don't want anyone from the front office. You got to bring in a guy from another franchise that you properly interview, right? And that guy brings in his people. And then if you're gonna fire Chris Greer and promote a guy, that guy knows his job is not guaranteed at all. He probably wants to build a winning team now. That guy is probably not trading Tyreek as well. So what I'm saying is, I find it very unlikely Tyreek gets traded in the middle of the season because that is just Chris Greer and whoever's the interim GM signing below. I'm being fired right now. No one is doing that unless Ross forces their hand. That's the only way I see it, right? So maybe Tyreek gets traded in the middle of the season, obviously to the best interest of the Miami Dolphins and whoever is going to take control of the next regime. Tyreek needs to be traded because obviously there's going to be a rebuild. But I don't know when Tyreek's going to be traded. There's a big difference in value of Tyreek being traded in the middle of the season to contribute to a team now versus in the offseason next year. It's a big difference. It's at least 3 times the value.
Yeah,
right?
What do you think? So what do you think he would go for in week 7?
If I'm the GM, I'm not taking less than probably, I don't know, like a third and a fifth or like a second and a fourth or something. It's going to have to be 2 mid picks.
Okay.
I would trade a third and a fourth for Tyreek. Not the Saints, but I think that's his value is a third and a fourth.
Third and a fourth, sure.
I could see a third and a fourth. I could see 1 second. probably max.
1 second as well. And I think a lot of
Second plus
contenders would do that
assist,
because
maybe.
Tyreek is still playing good, man. He went through an injury last year after going through 2 phenomenal years, and he looked really good week 1, man. He really did. So that's enough for me for Greer and Tyreek. I voiced my concerns with Tyreek. I don't know how he gets traded because Greer just will not. Makes no sense for Chris Greer to trade Tyreek Hill right now. So then with Tua, McDaniel, and Ewers, I think if McDaniel wants to have a chance at being the head coach of the Miami Dolphins, he has to turn this thing around. How is he going to turn this thing around if Tua continues to play bad? If Tua continues to play bad, they're both going to sink. It's plain and simple.
It sounds
I don't know
like
by when.
It sounds very oxymoronic. Every little thing, if one thing happens, this other thing can't happen.
Yeah.
But then this other thing should be happening. But then that means the original thing can't happen.
Exactly. Exactly.
It's a rock in a hard place. That's what it is.
Yeah. It's exactly what that is. So I don't know what is Stephen Ross's patience level right now with McDaniel. If I was the GM, I'm giving McDaniel and Tua maybe by week 3 to figure this thing out. Maybe max. First thing I would do, and this is just me, maybe speaking as a head coach here, I would elevate Ewers to be the backup week 2 already. Zach Wilson, the little time he had in week 1, he looked terrible. There's just no chance of him taking this thing under control.
Whoa. He moved the ball about as good as Tua did.
But that's
Zach
not
Wilson
that's
looked
not
horrible,
good.
man. No. Zach Wilson looked worse, man. He somehow looked worse.
I don't think so. I think you're trolling.
The look of the Storos, man. Sailing
Your bias is showing.
Listen.
bias, bro. What
No,
bias, man?
Vitor, you're getting rage baited.
Okay.
Relax.
As I was saying, Ewers should be promoted to backup next game. And in the event Tua plays bad the first and second quarter,
Why not just make him the starter?
I think they're gonna give Tua another game. I think they're gonna
Only one?
I don't,
only gets one?
that's what I'm saying. I don't know what's Ross's patience level. I don't know if it's going to be by week 6 or something because there's not much time. That's what I'm trying to say. McDaniel doesn't have that much time to figure this thing out. I would guess the timeline would be weeks 2, 3, and 4 to see if this offense can do anything. And if not, then Ewers starts week 5 or something. Because if this thing is not working out for Mike McDaniel, he has to realize he has to turn this thing around. And if Tua's not doing
Ewers
it, he's
would
going to
have a ton of potential with Xavier Worthy. Or, sorry, with Tyreek Hill. I mean, look what he did with Xavier Worthy.
What?
Like, huh?
You talking about Tua?
No, he's talking about Quinn Ewers.
Oh,
in
okay.
What was confusing about what
No,
I just said?
It
No,
took me
no,
a
no,
second
I-
too. It took me a second too.
Okay.
But
I
I
didn't
got
hear
it.
you talking about. Okay, sorry, Jacob. I know they played in Texas, so I think Ewers should start eventually in the season if Tua doesn't figure this thing out. If Tua plays good week 2 and we win week 2, he starts week 3. He keeps playing good. He stays going. If he plays bad, it's time for Ewers because the fans are gonna want Ewers to start, and McDaniel needs to show life to this team. If Tua's not giving life to this team, McDaniel needs to find life in this team.
Ewers has a stronger arm, too.
He has a stronger arm, and
Tua has the weakest arm on that team.
He does, yeah.
No, he does. And obviously, there's more to being a quarterback than that. But Ewers, I think, deserves a shot at that.
What?
No,
Since
right?
when?
I know.
Oh my god!
So-
You mean to tell me arm strength means nothing in the NFL?
a lot of fans need to hear that, surprisingly. But speaking of evaluating quarterbacks, and maybe it's so confusing, the Ewers thing, because McDaniel might need Ewers to turn this thing around. And maybe Ewers, in the miracle that he becomes a starting quarterback, maybe the new regime keeps him as a starting quarterback. So I think for the Miami Dolphins, it's interesting to see if you have something with Ewers or not. Mm-hmm. Because maybe we're going to have a high pick next year. If Ewers, I don't know, starts by week 5 and plays stellar the rest of the year, like a Purdy-esque type of thing, you would expect Miami to not draft a quarterback high next year.
Right.
So I think it's for the best interest of the Miami Dolphins to realize if they have something with Ewers or not. So I think Ross needs to start thinking about what he's going to do with the GM, what the hell the interim GM is going to do with Tyreek, you know. And I already have a small, I don't know many officials' names or front office officials' names around the league, but it has to come from a team that has been drafting well the last few years and a guy that prioritizes the trenches. I mean, that's at least what I would like personally. Yeah, that's pretty much it. And when it comes to evaluating quarterbacks and head coaches, the only thing I ask for Stephen Ross, I mean, there's a lot of things I would ask for Stephen Ross, because it's been 20 years since a playoff win, yada, yada, yada. But he can't let the unsuccessful journey of Tua in Miami to avoid the traits of said quarterback. What I'm trying to say is, just because the smaller guy with anticipation and accuracy didn't work out, you shouldn't just go for the big guy with this big arm in college and the next guy you draft, because that doesn't guarantee anything. Yeah, exactly. Just draft the guy you think is good. Don't try to fix the mistakes of the last guy, So, and I think same thing for head coach,
In 30
Don't
seconds, tell me like what would need to happen the rest of the season for McDaniel to keep his job? Because it feels like that ship has sailed, but like real quick, what do you think needs to happen?
A lot will have to happen. He's gonna have to first install a strong running game, because that's the identity they're trying to find. Finally find it, and go back to having a strong passing game. And I mean, just go have a consistent offense, win against good teams, and maybe, hopefully, in a miracle, we win a playoff game this year. I think maybe that would do it if he somehow went to the playoffs and won a playoff game. But it's, easier said than done.
Absolutely, 100%.
It's gonna be hard.
Well, yeah, it's a tough situation down in Miami. We don't envy it, I suppose, because it is it is a unique situation. I think not many other NFL teams.
Is it worse than mine?
No, I wouldn't say so. Although you've had success more recently, which is nice. But the Saints are the bottom feeder right now in the NFL, so it's hard to get worse.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
But we might get our quarterback next year.
You just might. Hopefully, pick the right one,
dude. And I'll be honest, this is another thing.
I'm telling you right now, if the Saints draft John Mateer, there is nothing that can stop me from owning him in every single league that we have.
Well, best of luck to you.
Thank you.
But yeah, so love the rant. I love the passion. Shall we move on to our tier list?
Yep, I said everything I had to say.
Yeah, so this tier list is week 1 performance tiers. That's it. We don't want to spend too much time on each team. Just like give us our quick thoughts on each team. If you don't really have much to say, that's totally fine as well. Yeah. And we don't have to go in order here. So we were just talking about the Dolphins for a long time. So I think it's already good to just place them in this tier. My tiers though are they are S, A, B, C, D, and F, but I have fun names attached. So S is superheroes, supervillains, Super Bowl. A is awesome. Okay. B is bougie, aka like they're decent.
They're okay.
They're decent, but they think that they're better than C.
They're pompous.
They might actually not be better than C, but they just think they're better. C, casually existing. They were just meh the entire game or whatever. Dog pound. Okay. It was a rough week. You're in the dog pound. And then F is 49ers special teams, because you can't get much worse than that.
Jake Moody just got cut, so maybe somehow it's on.
I'm hoping it's a lot better now. Yeah, with the Jake Moody cut and with Eddie Pinheiro getting signed. But that wasn't the only issue with the special teams. No. I'll get to it. I'll get to it when we talk about the Niners. But yeah, so Dolphins, I think 49ers special teams.
49ers special teams. 100%. Yeah, 49ers special teams.
The Saints might be the worst team in the NFL, but that might be the worst performance of the week last week.
Not even close.
Yeah, bottom of the barrel there. And conversely, we could talk about the Colts since that was their matchup. I'd be willing to put them in awesome for the week 1.
And they're bougie as fuck, dude. Their quarterback is Daniel Jones. I'm not buying.
But this is just based on their week 1 performance. I think awesome is a great spot for them for week 1. They were an awesome team.
I've watched that whole game, and I think they were awesome. I think they did everything they had to do.
I think if it's only based on week 1, then they have to be the top tier because they had the largest win total deficit.
Sure, but is this team winning a Super Bowl? Is this a Super Bowl team?
Is it
not based on only week 1?
Well, sure, but
you're
are they a
contradicting
superhero,
yourself.
a supervillain, or a Super Bowl?
Daniel Jones might be, according to you,
A
based on
supervillain?
week 1 only. Based on
Interesting.
only. Yeah.
I will say, Anthony, if we're doing this purely off of week 1, then I think Indianapolis should be above.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. I don't know where else do you guys want to go? Do we want to fill out our bottom tier first here, or I'll take it wherever you guys want.
I'll
Yeah,
go with
let's
the
put the
Bengals.
Lions in the
Oh,
bottom tier because they can lick dog shit for what they did to my parlays.
I would say dog
Yeah,
pound for
Lions
the
was
Lions.
Lions was brutal, but I agree, dog pound
The
just
defense,
because
the defense wasn't horrible, but
They lost
Jared
by
Goff,
14.
Yeah, that's bad. Yes, I'm well aware, but that's not 49ers special teams Dolphins level of bad.
it's not that bad. It
The
could have been worse.
defense
That's
was
true.
not the defense was not terrible. It left a lot to be desired naturally, but the offense is what really stunk. So they're in the dog pound, I think.
But I will say, moving forward, I'm not worried yet.
I don't know.
What? Oh, for the
They were-
Not
Lions.
yet.
They
For
were
the Lions,
almost,
not
they
I'm
yet.
were
definitely
almost,
worried
They were
for
almost
them,
a
dude.
special kind of bad on offense to the point where I'm like, Ben Johnson might have been the key to the whole thing because
Yeah, that was not a week 1 thing. That was a fuck, we don't have our
Yeah.
coordinator thing.
And while we're on the topic of the Lions, I did have you guys do some homework this weekend where I wanted to hear a stud and a dud of the week. A stud being like an under the radar player, maybe not even a starter, more of a rotational guy, but he just played so well and exceeded expectations, and it's just worth mentioning. We don't want to talk about Josh Allen every week for our stud of the week, right? So we want to give love to the smaller players. And then dud of the week is meant for a top tier player or a higher caliber player that really stunk it up. And
Didn't do good yet.
my dud of the week is Jared Goff. That was a
Jared Goff,
brutal
right.
passing performance.
Yeah.
So yeah, there you go. If you guys have your studs and duds, whenever the team pops up, let us know.
Okay.
So my dud is actually also a Lions offensive player. I had Jahmyr Gibbs.
Okay.
So do you think that he was a dud, or was it more about the offense in general that made him a dud?
I think everybody on the offense was a dud. Nobody did their job.
Okay. Fair enough. How about the rest of the bottom here? I would like to put the Titans in 49ers special teams. The score,
I think they played better than that.
I think they were pretty awful.
I think they played better than the Lions did.
I completely disagree. But not
the
completely,
Lions
not
were
completely
even
disagree.
odds to win,
Okay.
and they lost by 14.
Yeah,
the
they-
Titans
yes,
were
they were
plus
really bad.
400,
But
and
the-
they lost by 8.
But the score does not show how not close it was. They were down only 1 point at a point in this game. Never did I think that they were actually going to win, because this is the worst coach team in the NFL. I think that's pretty safe to say. Brian Callahan should have been fired yesterday. He should have been fired after his first year. He's just absolutely horrible. Completely incompetent, not even knowing the rules, of what a catch is and stuff. He even admitted as much in the presser afterwards. The defense played okay, similar to the Lions there. But I think a lot of it was just a product of Bo Nix also looking horrible. But none of what the Titans did inspired me at all. And maybe if you guys both say dog pound, that's cool. We can put them up there. But right now, they're not as bad as the Dolphins, but they're still in 49ers special teams bad.
I put him in dog pound. I don't disagree with anything you said. I'm not trying to boast the Titans here. The one reason why I moved him up is because I loved how Kim Ward looked, man. I think he looked
really
fantastic.
I think he looked bad, and it's not all his fault because the offensive line was
He
absolutely
scored
dreadful.
1 fantasy point. How can you
And
say he looked fantastic?
The receiving wasn't good either. Calvin
didn't
Ridley
watch the
dropping
game, dude.
balls. He was not good.
I did watch the game.
He
I
was
lost
not
a lot
good.
of money on that game.
Is he as bad as a lot of people are saying after week 1? No, but he was not good. I'll 100% die on that hill.
To be honest, he just passed the eye test for me. More balls being catched that receivers had on their hands, and Tennessee might have had a better chance of winning this game.
And that's another reason why, like I said with the receiving, it just felt like nobody was on the same page today. Nobody was working, and that's part of the reason why I would want them in 49 special teams. But you guys both agree dog pound, so we'll put them there. I think it's more fair to have them behind the Lions, though, based on the tier
I know we're
decision.
doing this kind of loosely, so kind of have no order here. I kind of want to talk about the Jets here for a second.
All right.
I think you can put them in I'm between two tiers here. I think maybe Bougie.
Bougie is where I want them,
I
100%.
think maybe
I
Bougie.
also think bougie. They definitely think they are better than they are.
Yeah, they definitely think they're better than they are. But I want to mainly talk about my stud of the week here.
Can we put the Steelers right next to them for the exact same reason?
Honestly, I agree.
Yeah, 100%.
Honestly,
No matter
I
what we
agree.
did, I was gonna request them to be in the same tier because offenses looked fantastic for different reasons. The Steelers
Yeah.
had no run game. They never ran. They ran Caleb Johnson one time in this game. Fucking malpractice. But the pass game was excellent. Aaron Rodgers was surprisingly super effective in his first game as a Steeler.
He still only threw for 240 yards.
I don't care about that. But the
I do.
Jets had a fantastic rushing attack all game, and Justin Fields was actually pretty poised as well as a passer. He made a couple really nice
He
throws.
played good. He played good.
But the defenses really stunk. Really stunk.
Yeah, they're missing
So,
Salah,
yeah.
obviously.
Bougie for sure.
So, but the main reason why I want to talk about the Jets is my stud of the week, and maybe you guys don't think he should be nominated, and if not, I can talk about someone else. But Arma Membu, my dog, who I've had very high on last year's draft, he showed everything of why I was super high on him last year. He doesn't let go of his base. He's so firm. You're not gonna knock him.
That was still this year. That was only in April.
Okay, yeah, you're right. Yeah. You got me there. Fucking hell, what can I say?
Summer was
He's a fucking pillar, but he moves like water. A fantastic player. I loved him out of the draft.
No,
Had him
yeah,
top 3 player.
and I'm totally happy with you nominating him because he is a rookie, and I think a lot of times, especially for rookies along the offensive or defensive line in week 1, people kind of forget about them. You know what I mean? And Armand Menbu, 100% is deserving of a stud of the week.
Yeah.
Absolutely. He played great.
Okay. Let's see. What else do we want in dog pound or 49er special teams? The Saints 100% belong to one of these.
Probably dog pound.
Yeah, I preferred them over the Titans.
It's so hard. The problem is, guys, if we're going to use the F tier as a Dolphins tier, there's going to be no one else there.
Well, it's not the Dolphins tier. It's the 49er special teams tier. You can't get much worse.
Well,
that's why
true.
that's why I was trying to get the Titans down there, because I don't think you can get much worse than how either side of the ball played for them in week 1. And again,
I
the
think
defense
this is
was
still
not
fine, though.
the defense was not dreadful, but I think they took advantage of Bo Nix playing bad. You know,
I think the Saints are still okay there, though.
dog pound is fine, especially if the Titans are going to belong in dog pound. They surprisingly moved the ball. They just couldn't translate to points ever. So that was kind of a troubling thing. And I also don't know how much the defense was the reason that Arizona couldn't move the ball, or Arizona was just kind of inept in that category as well. So it's just not a good team.
Will Johnson,
and they
man.
didn't play well, really. So yeah, dog pound is fair. I probably even... No, I would say behind the lines for me, but I can hear the argument.
Behind the Lions I think it's fine right there. I kind of want to talk about the Bengals.
Sure.
Definitely bougie for me. 1,000%.
You could put him in dog.
I
think
would
you
put
could
them
in dog pound.
I would say C
Casually
tier,
existing?
casually existing.
Okay, that makes sense. I went to bougie because of the think better than they think they are
Sure,
type of thing. But yeah, C tier
I
makes
get
sense.
that, but the thing with casually existing is that, like, this is exactly what everybody, like, was it kind of what we've come to expect of the Bengals early in the season. You know, over the last like 5 years, is that they're gonna look like this every week 1, and that's exactly what happened again. So I've learned nothing new about the Bengals this week. So casually existing makes a lot of sense.
And with that being said, Browns should go in dog pound, man, because they had that game on their hands.
Yeah, and I'll put them
Literally,
ahead of all
literally,
the other
so many
three
jobs.
teams. Yeah,
Literally had the game on their hands, and the missed kick. Yeah, no, unbelievable.
yeah. Tough loss.
Ruined my happiness.
Look, the defense looks pretty
Alongside the
solid.
Dolphins.
Harold Fannin Jr. looks really solid, so I'm excited
yeah.
about that. So there are positives to take away from the Browns, but yeah, I mean it really is ineptitude in clutch situations that killed them throughout this entire game, and yeah, certainly deserving a dog pound, but definitely higher than the other 3 teams.
I know I'm picking all the teams, but I'll go ahead and pick the next one. Because this is going to be my dud, of the week.
Ooh,
Can you please grab the Chicago Bears?
I
Put 'em
can.
in casually existing, I think.
I think that's fair. I would put them ahead of the
Think it's
Bengals,
fair.
actually.
Yeah, that's
Personally.
fair. I don't understand, man. I was super tired Sunday night. I couldn't finish the game. I finished watching the rest of it later. 17-6 when I went to sleep, and went downhill from there. I don't get it.
You know,
I couldn't tell you. I could not tell you what happened.
As soon as McCarthy threw that pick six, I'm like, okay, the game is over. Like
That's when
Minnesota
I went
has
to sleep.
struggled
That's
to move
when
the
I went
ball.
to sleep. I was tired.
Like
Yeah.
they just can't move the ball. They don't have anything really gelling on offense, and nobody's on the same page. And the Bears, even though they aren't scoring, they're at least able to like run the clock a little bit on offense, and the defense was really playing well up to that point. But
Yeah.
I mean, my God, what a choke job! And honestly, just thinking about the choke job in this game makes me want to put them in dog pound. Actually, 'cause that was a
I'm almost
brutal
there as well.
choke job.
I'm almost there as well. Kind of what the Browns did, but the only reason
Yeah.
why I put them there is because they played better than the Browns, but like they did the same thing, so they should be there together.
They decidedly played better.
No.
Yes. But man, that's an unbelievable choke job. You can't choke.
If
games
anything, the
like
choke
that.
job is worse, man. Put them next to the Browns, man. Put them next to the fucking Browns. We're overthinking this.
Yeah, I think so. That sounds good.
And just before I just talk about my dud of the week, I want to say one thing that I forgot to mention in my Dolphins rant. Super quick, I promise. I told my dad, if we're gonna trade Tua in the near future, we should start hoping that teams that have young quarterbacks, that those young quarterbacks play like shit, so that maybe those teams trade for Tua. And I mentioned the Vikings as being one of those teams. Maybe if McCarthy plays like complete utter dog shit his first year, maybe Tua's a Viking next year. If McCarthy keeps playing like this, doesn't look like it's gonna happen. He really figured it out in the second half. So that's all I want to say. There's some other teams that I mentioned, but anyways, I thought about that once I talked about this game. So
Real
my
quick,
dud of the week. Yeah, go ahead.
because we kind of skipped over the Saints, and I just want to say this real quick.
Yeah.
Spencer Rattler is the 12th highest graded quarterback on PFF so far. He played fucking great, and people need to notice that because Spencer Rattler might actually be him. I really don't want him to be.
He was not the
because
issue.
I want
Yeah.
to. He was the highest graded Saints offensive player except for Eric McCoy, who Eric McCoy is a fucking PFF darling. He's like the best center in football every year by PFF standards. So, not anything bad there. So,
Yeah, he was not bad at all.
absolutely happy with Rattler's performance.
Saints among those teams that I mentioned. So maybe to head to New Orleans next year.
I would hate that so much.
Take on that contract. Take on that contract for us.
Yeah.
Anyways, my dud of the week is Caleb. He started playing phenomenal. I thought I was looking at a new quarterback, and then the exact same issues why I wasn't so high on him coming out of the draft showed up in the later half of the game. He looked absolutely abysmal. When I was looking back at the game, missing wide open throws, like he clearly looks fatigued. His mechanic looks worse as the game goes on. Doesn't set his foot properly or his feet properly. He looks anxious to me. Like something pisses me off about the way Caleb Williams moves in the huddle. I cannot describe it.
Oh, it's so bad, dude.
I want a
Did you
guy
see
that
the
is
people that were
poised.
hating on his outfit too because he just had this like ugly ass undershirt on.
Dude, he wasn't locked in. That's my problem with the outfit. It's not that it looks bad. I don't care how it looks. I don't even think it looks.
It doesn't look clean.
It doesn't even look that bad. I don't
Yeah,
even
who
care how it
cares?
looks. He clearly to me looks like he was like doing his shit in the locker room, right? And then it was like, oh, I got a game. Put on the first shirt he found, put on the pads, the jersey, and went to the grass. I want a guy that is poised when he plays. And listen, don't get me wrong, he was moving around the pocket, great in the first half. Not so much in the second. But again, like I said, but before the plays,
Dude, his film looks bad.
I don't
I was
know.
watching
Something's
it. There's so
unsettling.
many missed throws.
I
On
know.
tape. There's like a solid 3-minute highlight reel of him just missing throws on.
Yeah,
tape.
it's really bad. That DJ Moore one, and I think it was a wheel route. I'm not sure what DJ ran. I don't remember the
Yeah,
route name.
DJ Moore was wide open on a wheel route. He had a safety over the top, but there was
Oh my
plenty of space to make
god.
the throw, and he just airmailed it out
There
of
was a
bounds.
slant
Would
as
have
well
been a
close to
touchdown in the fourth quarter.
there was a slant close to the end zone as well. He just so
I
off.
think, yeah,
He
Caleb.
missed like 3 running backs in the flat.
Caleb definitely,
Yeah.
like you said, later in the game, really lost himself. For whatever reason that is, they need to clean that up. He looked really solid in the first
He
half, I
looked
thought.
really good.
Especially his pocket navigation. He wasn't panicking. He wasn't like
No.
immediately bailing on the design
No.
and trying to just make something happen, play hero ball, which we saw a lot last season and in his final year
Yeah.
at USC. But
Yeah.
yeah, the second half was rough, but not just from him as well. I just want to point out the whole offense was rough in the second half. Like we talk about
That's true.
the bad throws, but it just felt like his receivers also weren't quite on the same page either. So I think could be a little bit of both. Again, not defending the throws at all; they're bad throws, but that they need to be on the same page. And same thing with the offensive line. What, like 4 different false starts in this game? That's unacceptable. And yeah, it's a lot of new guys on the offensive line, but you've had months to prepare and you're at home. You can't be false starting like that all the time. That's unacceptable. So I think really what happened is the whatever mojo they had to hold together in that first half just completely crumbled in the second, and mainly in the fourth quarter, but most of the second half.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Also, they literally killed DJ Moore. They
Yeah.
got DJ Moore killed by a Vikings defender.
Yeah. Well, that's all I had to say about my dud of the week.
yep. What other interesting teams do we have here? Like Panthers, I think we could put in 49er special teams.
I think so.
That was a
That was very
brutal
disappointing.
game.
That was
super
very
super
disappointing.
disappointing. We all said like these are two young exciting teams that could
You and I had them
it
going
could
to
be
the
a fun
playoffs.
game, and
Yeah.
that could still happen.
Things
But
happen, I know, but they were this way.
it was especially stinky on both sides of the ball. You know, we had concerns with the run defense going into it, but it was really bad, and the pass defense was pretty bad too. And it's not like the Jaguars, the run game was excellent, but the Jaguars passing game, it's not like it was a world beater or anything like that. There's obvious that there are still some growing pains between Lawrence and Liam Cohen throughout the season that we'll see. But yeah, the Panthers were just all out of sorts.
I
Bryce Young
would've-
was bad. The receivers were pretty bad outside of McMillan.
Yeah.
Yeah, tough one.
I would expect a guy like Canales to find holes in the Jags defense there. Like, you had all game to adapt and adjust, and they just didn't adjust the whole game. It was very stale.
Right.
Yeah. And it's not like the Jags defense is anything
No,
stellar.
no, the Jags didn't play anything all that great, man. It was really Carolina just not doing enough whatsoever. Not a real test. It felt like
It's bad one week one, you just get beat by fundamentals.
that. I'll tell you. Let me tell you.
Yeah.
Exactly what the Colts did to the Dolphins.
Yeah, exactly.
Fundamentals.
Yeah, but that's really what it
Think
was.
Daniel Jones is out here making crazy plays? No, there's not a single fucking highlight out of that game from the Colts. But no,
he
they
had
still
a
won by
crazy
25.
throw. He had a crazy throw. I think he was on the far. I think he was on the right hash of the pocket. Maybe it was in the middle of the pocket. I'm not sure. But he threw it diagonal to the left, man. Far left hash, between safety and the corner. It was a crazy throw. It was a really good throw.
Next one I'd like to talk about real quick, just so we can round out the bottoms here.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
New York Giants. I would say they were slightly better than the Titans just because the defense was
I
better.
think they showed the worst
but-
offense in the league.
But yeah, I think they belong in 49er special teams as well. That's where I would have both them and the Titans. So I'm
Dable
just
looks
gonna-
lost, man.
he consistently gets the absolute worst out of whatever quarterback is playing for him. And now that Russell Wilson has been good over the last couple of years, he's been bad, right? But he was like complete trash today, or not today, on Sunday. And the defense, like I said, the defense kept him in the game, so that was a little impressive. But again, still nothing crazy. The run defense struggled at times. The pass defense, I mean, Deebo Samuel carved them up all game, So, maybe the defense isn't quite as good as we thought. Maybe it's just, it's a really tough matchup week one against the Commanders. Just a lot faster of a team in general, it feels.
Yeah.
But yeah, Daboll should have been fired years ago. I don't know what the hell they're doing now, but you just need to put Jackson Dart in. Let's just see what Jackson Dart can do, because that might save Daboll's job anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he's also just looked the best so far in a Giants uniform.
Yeah. Next up, I want to talk about the Texans. I think they belong in the dog pound. And
Guys
I
win,
could hear
right?
arguments about casually existing because the defense was really excellent for most of the game, and they're the only reason that the team was even in the game still. But man, that offense it feels so inept. CJ Stroud is like bad. It's actually crazy. He has one of the worst pocket presences out of any starting quarterback in the NFL. He's not accurate either.
Which is totally anti what he was in year one.
Year
He's the
one, yeah.
exact opposite quarterback
Yeah.
of what he was
Yeah.
year
Yeah.
one.
It's been a regression every year, and not to overreact or anything like that, but this looks like the third best team in the division right now, and that's pretty crazy given the roster that they have. Offensive line also looks terrible. I think dog pound is where they belong. I would say behind the Bears.
Fair
In that
enough.
matter, let's go ahead and throw the Rams in bougie because we all know they think they're better than they are.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm
100%
not.
agree.
I'm not falling to it.
The Rams are the Dodgers of the NFL.
The
It's not going
defense
to
the
work out.
defense played well. They played very well, but again, part of the thing is that Houston's just bad offensively, especially right now. Also, they were just not inspired at all on offense either. And one of the things that I said, which is why I picked the Houston Texans in a low-scoring game, was that Devontae and Nukua would struggle to separate throughout the game. And I think they both each made a couple of really nice plays individually. But if we're talking about the game as a whole, that kind of ended up being the reality. I think the Houston secondary dictated a lot of what happened with the LA Rams offense. And so I was really impressed with the Texans again in that regard, but also a little underwhelmed by the Rams. You have to give them credit for winning. You have to give them credit for the defensive performance, but the offense was left a lot to be desired.
Yep. Um,
Absolutely.
can we talk
More
about?
disappointing teams, Cardinals. Go ahead and throw them in there. Dog pound. I want to say dog
I would
pound, but
say
casually
casually
existing for
existing,
sure.
yeah.
Technically
You know,
existed, yeah.
they did enough to win. The defense was, not maybe not quite as good as we thought, but it was solid.
Will Johnson.
They kept the lead the whole time. Will Johnson was great.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, the offense feels a little out of sync, except for Marvin Harrison Jr. was excellent. James Conner ripped off a couple nice plays, but everything else is a
I
little bit
just
off.
don't understand. When I was watching that game, I don't understand how they let Brandon Staley's defense stop them. There's nothing that the Saints did that was like mind blowing for me when I was watching. I mean, we were tackling well, we were rallying to the ball, stuff like that that you like would typically identify with like a well coached team. But we definitely didn't do anything like coverage wise that was that crazy or that advanced. And it really just goes to show how I don't want to say uneducated, but how little Kyler studies compared to the rest of the quarterbacks in game prep.
In fairness as well to Kyler, though, he was ill for a lot of the week leading up to it, so that may have impacted his performance as well. But at the end of the day,
That's fair.
you are a veteran NFL quarterback. If you are feeling a little bit more ill, like this team, should have prioritized making it easier for him. But I don't think that really happened with the playbook. And
I
again,
agree.
not a total indictment on the playbook or on Kyler in general, but it just something is missing is I guess what I'm
Yeah.
trying to say. And maybe
See,
that pops up later on, but it was not here in this game.
this might be a blasphemous take, and so be prepared to shun me. But as the biggest Kyler Murray glazer, they honestly might be better starting Jacoby Brissett because we've seen Jacoby Brissett be really good with a Drew Petzing offense.
That wow.
I can't believe you're saying this.
Did you
gotta be
remember?
Skywalker.
Did you remember how Jacoby Brissett looked last season with the Patriots? I know it's apples and
Yeah,
oranges,
it
but
was really bad. But we have also seen him be really good with Drew Petzing. So I would be willing to give it a shot just because I think it's a more successful offensive style to match this team's need. They have the running backs to go outside zone and heavy play action. And if they do that, I think it would really benefit them, especially since their whole identity is supposed to be a really strong defense that's going to help win them games.
but do you bench your $50 million quarterback after one mediocre week? Like that's a
No, you
brutal.
definitely don't do it after week one, especially after a win. I'm saying if you are in a position where you're 2-4 at week 6 and Kyler isn't looking stellar, he don't like. Let's say Kyler has like 2 games over 200 passing yards, and the rest of them are just kind of mess stinkers. Why wouldn't you give Brissett a try?
Okay.
Okay.
I still think that's a really spicy take at the very least. But
It's
yeah,
a hot take.
I don't know.
But I think it has foundation to it. It's not a brainless take.
I think the hang up for me is that it's Jacoby Brissett. That's the real, like, if it was a better backup, I could totally hear it out more, but it's Jacoby Brissett.
Why not trade for Mac Jones?
Oh yeah, McCorkle. It sounds like he's going to play against the Saints this week. But yeah, so Cardinals casually existing, I think that's totally reasonable. I think they could show more, but they didn't.
Can we talk
I think
about
Seattle. I think Seattle belongs in casually existing as well, and then San Francisco we can put in bougie. I think that makes a lot of sense.
Makes sense.
San Francisco.
Wait, were you about to say put Tua on the or on the Cardinals, Roofy?
No, I don't think they would do that. I was talking about those teams earlier, but I don't think Cardinals would be one of those teams to pull that off.
Oh no, absolutely not.
I think they could be.
No.
I don't think they would pay. I don't think they would go from paying Kyler that money to pay Tua that money.
No, they would reset at the position.
That's fair.
That's the money thing is the hold up for them, I think.
So the difference between the
Gosh
49ers and the
darn it,
Seahawks
dude!
here-
If John Matier goes to the Cardinals, dude, that would be a thing.
the Cardinals won't be bad enough. They'll be perfectly mid, casually existing.
Dolphin.
Well, Matier's only mocked at pick 32 right now. Like he's just now entering in the first round.
Well, sure,
discussion.
but if we're talking trajectory here, like there's a chance that he ends up in the top 10.
He
right?
looks good.
So that would be some. That's why I bring that up. But anyway,
yeah, this is like whenever I was hoping we could get JJ McCarthy 2 years ago when we were picking like 16th as the Saints.
Yeah.
I was just like on a pipe dream, but
right,
no.
Right. So the reason for the split, maybe you guys agree, maybe you guys don't, but I think the 49ers on offense and defense just made one extra play better than Seattle, and that ultimately is why they ended up winning. But I think both defenses played really well, and I was really pleasantly surprised by how Robert Saleh's defense in general performed in their first week, given how many young players that are in, how many new starters, if not, rookies or whatever, that played this game. The run defense looked significantly improved from last season. They still let off a couple big ones. Naturally, that's what happens. But yeah, they were pretty locked down. Lenore did not allow a single reception on his side of the football, so that was awesome. And my stud of the week is going to be D. Winters. No more Devondre Campbell, no more Dre Greenlaw. Nick Martin didn't even suit up for this game. I don't know what's going on with that one, but so like D. Winters has to come in as the linebacker 2, shadowing Fred Warner essentially, right? And I thought he played really well. I think he led the league led the team in tackles rather. He had a couple TFLs. He was flying around the ball, and so I was really happy with his performance. And if he plays like that the rest of the year, then that could be another franchise linebacker. Yeah.
I will say I know it's early, but I am kind of ready to toot my own horn on the Seahawks offense being one of the worst in football.
It was rough. I think there were play calling issues for sure. And I think
Clint Kubiak is going to get fired after this year. He was not a good hire to begin with, and people in preseason were like, "Oh my god!" Like Tori, I'm sorry, dude, but Kubiak is not good. You had 15 games to show you that last year. Why did you buy into it?
Yeah.
It's bad. You have evidence to suggest otherwise. Come on, man.
Yeah, it was kind of rough. But really, there are a couple of fundamental issues, but there are a couple things that they did well. Jackson Smith-Njigba looks
JSN
great.
is vastly overrated, dude.
Really, I thought he looked very good in this game. But really, the other thing, he was the only receiver. Like, it was him that caught like 11 passes, and then every other Seahawks pass catcher caught like 3. Like, that was it. It was just JSN out wide. Cooper Kupp looked really bad. Really underwhelming. He dropped a pass at one point. And I, not to toot my own horn, but I kind of saw that coming. I didn't like the Cooper Kupp signing for Seattle. It felt redundant with having JSN already there. And it's a player who has dealt with a couple injuries recently and who I already thought was overrated just because he was on the Rams. So, like, But I digress. Zach Charbonnet looked good. He definitely looked a lot better than Kenneth Walker. So that's something to monitor as we go down the stretch here. But Darnold wasn't terrible either. He was okay, but he definitely missed on a few throws. And the fumble at the end of the game was brutal. That's why I love quick release quarterbacks, even if it does like hinder arm strength a little bit. But when you're up here and you're just delivering, it's so much safer, so much more secure than when you're down here and you're laboring your whole delivery. And that's what resulted in that fumble at the end of the game.
Mm.
Not and Nick Bosa just being a monster and not even having to touch the quarterback to affect the play.
Can we rattle off a few teams that are going to be in casually existing here real quick?
Yeah, I think so.
Like Cowboys, Falcons.
I would not put Cowboys in casually
Raiders.
existing. I think the Denver Broncos belong in casually existing. I think
the Cowboys are not going to go in
Patriots-
awesome for a loss, and we're not going to put them in bougie because I don't think that they have an ego as a team. So I think casually existing fits the Cowboys perfectly.
I think we maybe are reading into bougie as the word a little bit too much. It's still B tier.
Yeah, B tier.
It's still B tier.
Okay, then yeah, B tier.
I think Cowboys belong in B or bougie. It was just a fun name mostly, but it does apply to some of these teams for sure. And then the Broncos, casually existing. You pulled out a win, which is good,
so.
but the defense was pretty good, but the offense was pretty bad. The run game was okay. Cortland Sutton was pretty monstrous too. The Patriots, similar thing. Like the defense looked good for a stretch of the game, looked bad at the two ends of the game, or maybe not bad, just really not good. And then Drake May was okay. The play calling and the coaching, I thought, was the most underwhelming part of the Patriots, though. Why are they
not running the ball?
Exactly. Why are we not running the ball? That's what I thought. That's why I picked them, right? I thought that Vrabel would, because of who Vrabel is and the culture.
Very disappointing.
Why aren't we running the ball more? Why are we not sticking to our identity here? This is obviously a team that can run the ball well and has the potential to do that, but we're relying way too much, I think, on Drake May in week 1 against a Pete Carroll-led defense that maybe isn't the best on paper, especially in the secondary, but is going to play tough, and they did play tough today, or again on Sunday. I don't know why I keep saying today.
Dude, you said today a lot.
I've said it like 3 times.
Bro rewatched the game today. Can't even hide it.
Yeah.
I'm going to put the Chiefs in casually existing. And honestly, you could argue dog pound.
I'm okay with that.
If I'm going to be quite frank.
You could definitely argue dog pound. They looked bad.
There were 3 players that I thought looked good. One of them is Patrick Mahomes. One of them is Trent McDuffie, and that's about it. I don't even know if I can name a third player, but I'm just trying to be generous.
Maybe Creed.
Yeah,
Creed,
sure.
But it's a center.
Yeah.
It's
But everyone else felt out of sorts. The Spagnuolo defense felt super undisciplined. They didn't stop they stopped the run at a decent clip, but there were certain times where they just gave up a big gain for no reason. It felt like Herbert carved them up though. Herbert was excellent, and I want to put the Chargers in superhero, supervillain, Super Bowl because I can hear arguments for just awesome, but the way that Herbert played was one of the top 3 quarterback performances of the week, and they let the Chiefs hang in there a little bit, but it never actually ended up mattering because they just were clutch and took care of business when they needed to as a team. Again, I'll hear arguments for awesome, but I would like to.
No, I think if you look at the performances of week 1, I think it's fair to put them there.
Cool.
I'm also okay with that there.
So who are we putting in awesome? Ravens because they choked the game away, but they still look fantastic.
I think Bills because they won the game.
Bills belong in awesome. I was gonna do Ravens at the top of bougie because of the choke. Simply put, they looked excellent. Yeah. At least on offense, they looked excellent until the end of the game where they choked it away. The defense was super underwhelming, and Jair Alexander, toot my own horn again, not a good player.
No.
I would also argue, and hear me out on this. I think the Bucks belong in awesome, and I know that people are going to say they had a really close game with the Falcons, but listen, they would have beaten the Falcons by 2 scores if it wasn't for the most bullshit goal line of all time. The last goal line where the Falcons scored a touchdown that made it a tied game, that that goal line stand was like 6 or 7 stops in a row. They got a ticky-tacky PI that extended the drive again and again because they had a defensive holding or whatever, and that's what resulted in the Falcons ending up like making the game a lot closer. If that doesn't happen, it's a 2-score win for the Bucks, and it's not even close.
I hear you. I think that's a fair enough argument, but at the same time, I feel like the defense for a decent portion of that game wasn't as good as we would expect that defense to be, given who's on the team, given it's Todd Bowles coached. So that was a little underwhelming. At the offense, a little bit of the play calling was weird. Obviously, they still won the game, and Baker looked impressive. Agbuka took over. He was excellent. But I think the higher end of Bougie makes more sense for the Buccaneers.
Yeah, I was gonna say I think Awesome is too high. That's the problem.
Yeah, I would say there. Behind the Ravens. Do we have any more awesome teams here? The Packers, but they could be in superhero, supervillain, Super Bowl, right? I think that's more fair.
I don't think we should have more teams in S than A though.
Well, that's why I'm like I want to try to fill out this bell curve better.
I mean, let's see if we can finish. Let's see if we can somehow put more teams in A. Maybe balance on out. Maybe the Eagles should be in A.
I
Eagles
don't
are
think so.
definitely an A.
Really.
Yeah, that's right.
Oh, come on.
Come on. Okay. I think Bougie is better for them, more apt for this game. They couldn't get the run game going. Jalen Hurts was pretty much the only thing clicking on offense, and he played very well. Don't get me wrong, but how is AJ Brown disappearing in this game? How is Devontae Smith disappearing in this game? How is Saquon Barkley disappearing in this game? This is the Cowboys' defense is not supposed to be excellent run defending defense.
Good.
This isn't supposed to be a world-beating defense. Why can't we move the ball against them? And I feel like they're struggling again with the offensive coordinator exodus. Kellen Moore leaves and they're already like back to old ways where they're just not able to move the ball nearly as efficiently as they should or would like to.
I think you should mention as well, if not for CD dropping 4 balls that he usually catches, the Cowboys might have won this game.
Yeah. You could argue probably that big one at the end, like that puts them in the red zone. They are in striking distance. They may still lose, of course, but
That was the hardest catch of the 4. But
based on what we expected from the Eagles and Cowboys, I was way more impressed by how the Cowboys played than the Eagles, and I don't think it's fair. I don't know. I'll let you guys decide.
maybe Bougie. Then.
I think Bougie.
I think you convinced me.
Yeah, that makes more sense. I guess we can move the Ravens back up to awesome then, if we just want something there. Because I mean, for most of the game they played.
I think it's fair.
Football.
I think it's fair. I think it's fair. To
I
put the
mean,
Ravens
you can
in.
argue Commanders there too, I guess.
Yeah, we're gonna get there. I think Commanders, yes.
Okay.
And then Vikings and Bougie.
I don't know. I was in between Bougie and Casually Existing. The fourth quarter was fantastic for them, but the defense was not great in the first half. Obviously, the offense could not get anything going for almost pretty much 3 quarters of this game, and that is
Didn't
really
use
puzzling.
Jordan Mason enough.
They did not use Jordan Mason enough at all. It just felt like, again, similar to the Cardinals, where something's just missing on offense. Something's not clicking. This could be a lot better potential than we got. But
Casually existed, I think. I think
so too. I think at the top of it.
Casually. Yeah,
That's fair.
I agree. Atlanta.
I would actually put the Raiders above them and casually exist.
I could hear that. I was honestly going to say Bougie for the Raiders.
It's either bottom Bougie or top Casually.
I think they outplayed.
I just don't think the Raiders are a B team. I don't see them winning more than 8 games.
Well, that's fine, but
we're not looking
week
at
1.
that. Yeah.
Oh, true.
And I thought they for the large majority of the game they outplayed the Patriots. So that was nice. Just a well-coached team and really good stuff on offense that I saw. So
I think it's fair.
Yeah, I like Bougie for them. Falcons,
Jags. I think. Oh, okay. Yep.
I was gonna say Falcons probably
Casually.
also toward the top of Casually Existing. The defense wasn't as bad as I maybe expected them to be. Penix was pretty good. So that was nice. Bijan Robinson was pretty good as well. So that was good. Casually Existing. And then I was going to say Jaguars again. Bottom of bougie, top of casually existing.
I think bottom of casually existed.
Really? The defense
Or
played
like
very
middle,
well.
or
The
like
defense
middle.
played very
Definitely
well.
not bottom
And
of.
the
No,
running
they
game.
can't be below teams that have losses. That is stupid.
I'm with you, Jacob. The run game was excellent. The defense was very good. I think that's at least worth a bougie.
Travis
Okay.
Etienne had like 150 yards, Roofy. Come on, man.
His performance was good enough to where they justified trading Take Bisbee away for a couple
Yeah.
day 3
Yeah.
picks.
100%. He validified all of me and Anthony's fantasy stock in him because we have been buying him this offseason.
Whenever I draft
is
one, I
paying
always
off.
drafted the other. So now
I
I
tried.
have
I
an
was
answer.
unsuccessful. I tried, but
Yeah, every time I was able to draft one, I held with the other.
Speaking of fantasy, I sent out a blockbuster trade just now.
Okay.
I would get Joe Mixon, a first round pick for next year, and a 2027 second round pick. And in return, he gets Austin Eckler and Jordan Love.
You win that trade, bro. That's not close. What?
I mean, technically speaking, for a dynasty, it's a very fair trade because
It-
Jordan Love is a league average at minimum quarterback. It's a 2 quarterback league, and he's young and he has a long contract with a team that has a good offense around him for years to come.
I mean, I hear
So
you if we look at the
dynasty wise,
value,
it's
but
perfectly fine.
like if we look at value, sure, but I 100% prefer your side.
all right. Do we have any last minute objections to anything
I
on this tier
think
list?
my only concern is that I don't think the first tier and second tier should have the same amount. I think we
Oh,
should bring
I
one
forgot
up.
to mention that Talanoa Hufunga is my stud of the week
Oh.
for the Broncos.
Yeah, he played really well in his first game. Yeah.
Yeah.
He had
Definitely worthy.
over 10 tackles.
Vitor,
I think.
did you get a dud?
My dud was Caleb Williams.
Oh, that's right. That's right. Okay.
I thought Baruvi gave like 8 duds, honestly.
No, that was my dud, and my stud was
So-
Mambo.
Vitor, I hear you
Ah.
about not liking that the top 2 tiers have the same 3 teams, but realistically, like outside of the Eagles, which we heard arguments for, but we both agreed was bougie, you and I. Jacob wanted an awesome. Like who else would even be there? I think after
I mean, maybe
I think with week 1, based on how sloppy it usually is, I think that's okay.
I think this is fine.
Yeah. If anything,
Yeah.
we can move the Chargers down to the top of awesome because they did.
That's what I was thinking,
dominate
actually,
the
is
game.
I would
I
move
would
the
say they
Chargers
bring
down so
one
the bell
down,
curve
but,
looks nicer.
Okay, I'm cool with that, and
Okay.
it makes sense anyway. I guess for the theming of the top tier with superheroes, supervillains, super.
and also AFC,
So-
NFC, so kind of fun.
Yeah,
But I will also say that I think it is a bit disingenuous to have the Eagles in B tier instead of A tier when they beat a B tier quality team.
but I think both of them performed at a
Yeah,
B
but
tier.
I
you know what I mean?
Yeah, watching
The
game,
Jets also lost their game, but they performed like a B tier team.
The Eagles also did it without their most talented player on their team.
Yeah, but I get that. But the defense also wasn't that great all game. Like the first half.
Probably because they didn't have Jalen Carter.
That's right. But my point is that they didn't perform to an A tier probably because they didn't have Jalen Carter.
because it's only week 1. Okay. Okay.
Yeah,
Fine.
if we're grading you guys got mad at me for not saying that the Colts are a Super Bowl team. If we're only going on the merits of week
No,
1,
I
like
agree.
we all
I agree
agreed,
with you. It's
they
him that's
can't
bickering.
be in
I
the
agree
A
with you.
tier, Jacob. They just can't. And arguing about it, arguing in favor of A tier based on a player who didn't even play, like that doesn't make any sense. All right.
Well, I'm through with this.
Yeah, I think we did
I
well.
am as well. I think we should move on to picks.
If we want to do this as a recurring segment, we don't have to only do based on the week. Although that might be fun, to do. But I think this is a
we can do monthly.
fun thing or whatever. Well, I want to briefly recap, but I think
Yep.
recapping in tiers is better each week than just recapping the games.
Right.
Anyway, so in the top tier, superheroes, supervillains, Super Bowl, we have the Colts and the Packers. In the second tier, awesome, we have the Chargers, the Bills, the Ravens, and the Commanders. In bougie, we've got the Eagles, Bucks, Steelers, Jets, Cowboys, Jaguars, Rams, Niners, Raiders. Then in casually existing, we've got the Vikings, the Seahawks, Falcons, Cardinals, Bengals, Broncos, Patriots, Chiefs. In dog pound, we've got the Bears, the Texans, Browns, Lions, Saints, and Titans. And then 49ers special teams, we've got the Giants, Panthers, and Dolphins.
Would Daniel Jones versus Jordan Love be the worst display of quarterback mechanics in Super Bowl history?
I don't think Daniel Jones has bad mechanics, so no.
If it was Caleb traded to an AFC team, I would probably agree with you.
I think Daniel Jones has really bad pocket maneuvering. But
Yes.
Yeah, he does step into sacks a lot. At least he
Yeah.
did with the Giants, right? Anyway.
Right.
Yeah, so let's...
Shadur versus Jordan Love.
oh, there you go. That's it right there. Yep.
That's it right
Shadur
there.
takes the starting job. They go on a massive run for whatever reason.
The Team Tebow-esque run where they're winning in spite of their quarterback.
Yeah, exactly. Okay. So we're not gonna worry about the schedule really, because if you're watching this far, you're gonna watch the whole rest of it probably. So we're just gonna go left to right, starting with the AFC. Bills at the Jets, Sunday morning for me, Sunday afternoon for you losers on the East Coast.
Unfortunately.
Yeah.
But I've
We
got
can't
the
all
Bills.
wake up to 8 a.m. football.
Exactly, yeah. I've got the Bills. Just really can't pick against Josh Allen right now. The Jets were impressive in Week 1, especially offensively, so it could be a shootout in that regard. But again, can't pick against Josh Allen. X Factor player. We'll go with Keon Coleman this week.
Definitely picking the Bills here. I'm also thinking they're going to win via shootout. So if you have any of their fantasy players, play them. I think they're all going to get fed pretty darn well. Look for Gabe Davis to get a touchdown or two.
Interesting choice.
Yeah, I got the Bills as well. Not much else to talk about. Just a clear favorites. Pick against them right now. I want to see them establishing the run more. And I think combination of Cook and Josh Allen is deadly. So I will put Cook as a player to watch out. I don't know. I'll say Bills by 13 here.
Yeah, totally fair. I thought about James Cook as well.
Yep.
All right. Next up, AFC East. Everyone's playing each other this week. We got the Patriots at the Dolphins. Dolphins are hopefully looking to right the wrongs of Week 1. Vitor, take it away.
Homer and me, and I don't think it's gonna be much worse than last week. So I'm gonna pick the Dolphins here. With Tua being the player to watch out for multiple reasons. He wants to come back from last week, and the Miami is gonna win is because of him. He's a guy that's gonna have to change things around. I'm gonna say Miami by 4.
I think that the Patriots are going to go out there and win this week. If you look at PFF grades, the Patriots had 3 receivers with a PFF grade above 75 with Stephon Diggs, Kyle Williams, and Kayshon Boutte. So I think in spite of the bad play calling, I think they will figure out how to have an effective passing game, especially with Drake May at the helm. So look for Drake May to have a good breakout performance here in Week 2 against the Dolphins.
Yeah, and I'm going to say almost the exact same thing that you said there, Jacob. I think against a suspect secondary like Miami, the Drake May passing offense can really, really find a spark here, and it can be a great game of growth for him. So Drake May is going to be my X Factor as well. Not to be boring, but I just really see it as that way. All right. The next game is the Jacksonville Jaguars at the Cincinnati Bengals. Of course,
yeah,
the
this is
Jaguars.
beautiful.
Jaguars pretty impressive in Week 1. The Bengals about what we expected in Week 1. Jacob, go ahead.
So I'm going to be going with the Bengals here. They are the home team, and that is partially why I'm picking them. I think if this game was in Jacksonville, I would be riding with the Jaguars. This is going to be the game of the week. Everyone's going to want to watch this game because this is the game that's going to have 30 points for each team. I think there's going to be a little bit of defense played, maybe a turnover or two. But I think you're going to see a lot of offensive fireworks here. And honestly, look for Travis Hunter to maybe get an interception here against Joe Burrow, maybe playing underneath like a T. Higgins or Jamar Chase and catching in between like a post route. I can see that happening. If that happens, we're clipping that shit, by the way. But
Yeah,
give me the Bengals to win, even though I picked the Jaguars player as my X factor.
All right, very cool. Vitor.
You guys know how I feel about the Bengals this year. The Browns choking the game away doesn't stray me away from that. I'm gonna go with the Jaguars here. They surprised me a little bit. I'm looking at ETN can really carry the realms here for the Jaguars. And yeah, I will say Jaguars by 3. I think it's gonna be tight,
All right,
high
very
scoring.
cool. I'm taking the Jaguars as well, just because again, like it's tough. It's tough to pick the Bengals early on, and because the Jaguars were impressive last week, I'm gonna ride that hot hand there. You guys both took like Jacob. I was gonna pick Travis Hunter, then I was gonna pick Travis Etienne. You guys both took him away from me, so I'm gonna think of somebody else, and that's gonna be we'll go with Tyson Campbell. You know, if the Jaguars can play really
pick.
solid pass defense against the likes of T Higgins and Jamar Chase, that could be the difference maker in this one.
Good pick.
All right.
Nice.
Next up,
we both picked defensive backs.
yeah, 100%. Next up, we've got the Cleveland Browns at the Baltimore Ravens. The Browns, unfortunate to
Nice.
lose. They weren't the worst team
I think I might know who we're picking
on the field on Sunday, but yeah, it should go without saying the Baltimore Ravens are going to win this one. But if the Browns have a shot, it's going to be because of that defensive front, and maybe potentially because of a guy like Carson Schweisinger in the secondary as this coverage middle linebacker. If he can plug the middle of the field
like
in the
him,
pass
man.
game, this could make Baltimore seem a little one-dimensional, and it could be a reason why Cleveland can upset the Ravens in this week. But I'm taking the Ravens, of course.
Hey, we did see the Browns go into Baltimore and win last year.
We did.
We saw the Browns go into Cincinnati last week and play an amazing defensive game against a supposed to be star-studded offense. I'm picking the Ravens, but I am not taking them with my survivor pick. This has upset written all over it. And if you pick the Browns, I think you're delusional, but I do think the Browns have a solid 25% chance to win this game.
Ravens, probably looking at 10. There is a defensive mismatch here for the Browns against the Ravens that I think they can maybe take advantage on. But the Ravens are far too talented, and I think they pull away with a comfortable lead in the beginning and just kind of stay steady at it. I'm looking at Zay Flowers, had a phenomenal week 1. But I want to see if he continues to build off of it and become a true wide receiver 1.
Dare I say the Ravens will
looking at-
coast after a strong start.
Ah, okay.
I'm looking at Dylan Sampson here. He really impressed me week 1 against the Bengals, and I actually want to see if he can take the job from Quinshon Judkins. I would hate that as a fantasy guy because I have
I
one
know.
Judkins and I don't
I
have
know.
anything Sampson-wise. But I actually do think that this is a job that he could find himself stealing over time. And if he continues to play like he did in week 1, this could be his job for the future. So I'm looking at him this week to see what he does against a stout Ravens defense.
Nice. All right, next up, the Denver Broncos against the Indianapolis Colts, two teams that won in very different ways last week. One of them seemed a little underwhelming, especially based on preseason expectations. The other one, skyrocketing preseason expectations and winning in dominating fashion. That said, I'm taking the team that won in a dominating fashion in week 1. It's a much tougher test on the defense in this game, but I don't know. I've just got a feeling about the Colts right now, and I think that their ceiling is higher with Daniel Jones at quarterback. He's, of course, the player to watch for me because, I think the game is going to be determined based on his performance in this one. Yeah.
So I'm going to be riding with the Broncos here. Sorry to cut in front of you, Broofy. Again, I'll let
Don't
you
worry,
go
don't worry.
first next time. But I'm going to be going with the Broncos here. I just think they have the overall better roster. I believe in their coaching staff a little bit more, even though I'm not a huge Sean Payton guy. I've definitely not been buying in on Shane Steichen, although he could be turning me around if he goes out there and wins this week. I think that'd be really impressive to start 2-0 this year, especially with Daniel Jones at your quarterback, because I think that's one of those things that's like, man, you're really winning in spite of your quarterback play. So that could be really cool for Shane Steichen, but I am going to be riding with the Broncos here. I think this is going to be like the easiest under of the week. I don't see any offense going in this game. I could see this game legitimately being a like 13-10 finish at the end of the game.
The hardest game for me to pick, because I could argue for either side. There's many reasons why. It's a different test for Indianapolis to go against Denver. Both sides of the ball, but kind of the same thing for Denver. Colts played really sound football. I'm gonna go with something tells me Colts, especially playing at home. Bo Nix didn't inspire me all that much, so I'm gonna say Colts by 3. Very low scoring game, like I said, Jacob. And I'm honestly, I'm gonna go with Bo Nix, like I said, because if Broncos are gonna win this game, they're gonna make that extra play on offense, and it's gonna be with Bo Nix because he didn't look great last week, like I said. And yeah, I'm looking at Bo Nix for this
See,
one.
I think if they're going to win this game, it'll be the extra play on defense, and I'm looking at Nick Benito to potentially be that spark. He had a monster game
Yeah,
in Week 1, and
he's
really
good.
has been ascending since he entered the league, but last season took that big
Boomer
breakout
Sooner,
step.
baby.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
absolutely.
Yeah, he's a dog. If I was going to pick anyone to look out for in this game, I would say it's both of the Broncos running backs, both J.K. Dobbins and R.J. Harvey, and seeing how they can go up against the Colts defense, which stunted the Dolphins' rushing offense last week.
Yeah,
Yeah.
good pick. Good pick. All right, Monday Night Football on the AFC side, a classic divisional matchup, and it's always entertaining, it seems. The Chargers at the Raiders. Vitor, let's hear it.
Another hard game for me to pick. I think Raiders. I picked them last week, so I expected decent things from them, but I'm gonna go with the Chargers here. Obviously, they surprised me. Playing very sound football on both sides of the ball. Um, I am probably looking at Marion Hampton here because I wasn't that high on him coming out of college, and I want to see him have more volume, I guess. Obviously Herbert is a guy with that offense, but I don't want to necessarily see Herbert throwing so many times and running so many times. I want to see Hampton as well being involved. I'm gonna say Chargers by 6.
I'm going to make a statement here. This is my
Mm.
survivor pick of the week because the
Ooh.
Chargers are going to go in there and they are going to win this football game and they're going to win it in dominant fashion. We saw the Raiders were able to stifle the Patriots offense a little bit, and I think that is in large part due to the Patriots being a little bit one-sided. They are pretty much only a passing offense until they can get their offensive line to be better with their run blocking and zone fits. So I think that the Chargers are going to have a heyday here against the Raiders. I don't think the Raiders are going to be nearly capable of stifling the Chargers' run offense like they did the Patriots. And I think the Chargers' passing game is just as good as the Patriots, if not better, with a more experienced quarterback and more experienced receivers in that unit. Keenan Allen looked
Yeah.
rejuvenated. He looks like a completely different player than he has the last 2 years. He looks healthy. He looks way better than Quentin Johnston did, and Quentin Johnston's the guy that got all the hype. I think Keenan Allen is the guy who will actually have continued success throughout this season, and I have the Chargers winning this division. I'm going to be riding with them all year. Give me them to win against the Raiders.
And we're going to have a classic sweep here. I'm taking the Chargers as well. A little bit opposite what you said though with my player to watch. I was, it wasn't the best performance from Quentin Johnson, but I was actually kind of impressed with some of his growth that we saw against the Chiefs defense last week. So I think he can find the end zone again in this one, and I'd be interested to see how he can expand off of a pretty solid performance. Keenan Allen was the better receiver against the Chiefs, but I think that Quentin Johnson has room to grow here.
Fair enough.
Okay. Now we're moving on to the AFC versus NFC matchups, interleague matchups. There are only 4 of them this week. It's still early in the season, so a lot of interleague play before we get into the opposite end. So the first one here, the Los Angeles Rams at the Tennessee Titans. Jacob, go ahead.
Give me the upset here. I'm gonna ride with
Ooh.
Pete. I'm gonna ride with Junior. If Mallard doesn't pick the Titans, then Mallard's not a real fan because the Titans have a serious chance of winning this football game. I don't think the Rams defense is nearly as good as the Broncos is. I think the Titans genuinely do have the capability to pass all over this team if Cam Ward can look as good as he did on tape. He passed the eye test. He had a lot of mistakes, but he also had a lot of amazing throws. I think his gunslinger mentality can kind of get them into a position where they could win this game or they could lose it by 30. It just depends on how he plays. So I think that he's going to go out there, throw for 3 touchdowns and 1 interception, and be able to eke out a little bit of a close game, maybe a little bit of a shootout. 24-21 Titans.
Wow. Okay. Vitor.
I thought I was the only one picking the Titans, but
Wow.
apparently
Wow. What a fun game.
for the exact same reasons as you, Jacob. But I like Calvin Ridley too much. I don't think he's gonna have 2 stinkers in a row. I'm looking at Calvin Ridley in week 2, helping out his young quarterback, who previously, like I said, I was a big fan of Cam Ward in his performance in week 1. Stats don't show it, but I just watching him play, facing pressure, throwing with the pressure in his face, I think he did it very well. So I think he can handle whatever the Rams are going to throw at him. I have the Titans winning by it's very close, like by 2, maybe a game-winning field goal or something.
Mm.
Unfortunately, we're
Yeah.
not going to complete the upset sweep here. I am going to take the Rams. It's, of course, naturally a safer pick here, but I wasn't nearly as moved by Cam Ward's performance as you were last week. He was obviously not the only thing wrong with the offense, but it wasn't, he didn't do too much to help his case either. But that said, I'm looking at Byron Young on the defensive line for the Rams here to make a big impact against a weak offensive line. Do we know the status of J.C. Latham? If he's going to be playing in this week, because he got banged up in week 1,
I
especially if
didn't
he's
see anything about him not playing.
well. If there's a chance that he doesn't play, then I'm really hammering a guy like Byron Young on the Rams to feast on that weak O line. So yeah, I'm going to take the Rams. I
Yeah.
think it's again a lower scoring game because again the Rams offense isn't moving me right now, but the Rams defense is pretty solid.
Cool.
All right. Seattle Seahawks at the Pittsburgh Steelers. The Steelers were a big surprise last week for a multitude of reasons. The defense was pretty bad for most of the game, clutch at the end. And the passing offense was the most impressive thing. The run offense was almost non-existent. Now here they are going against a arguably better defense in the Seattle Seahawks. But I'm going to take them just by a hair, maybe by a field goal or something late, just similar to how the New York Jets game finished. And the player to watch is going to be Caleb Johnson for me. I'm hoping that he gets more touches in this game. He only got 1 last week, and that to me is complete coaching, game planning malpractice. He deserves more touches, and I think against a test like the Seattle Seahawks, where they're going to need to balance their offensive strategy a little bit more, I'm looking for Caleb Johnson to be really impressive.
I think that the Seattle Seahawks are going to go out there and they are going to take it to the Steelers. I think they're going to win 21-6 or 21-7. I think
Wow.
the Steelers are going to be struggling on offense. I think the Seahawks defense is going to be stifling them. I think similar to what you said about Byron Hunt, I think Byron Murphy is going to go crazy against this Steelers O-line. I think the Steelers O-line is still young, still inexperienced, going to have a lot of struggles. I think if that O-line starts to implode, I think Aaron Rodgers is going to start throwing picks. So
Okay.
give me the Seahawks to win 21-7.
Star turning picks is kind of funny because my player of the week is gonna be Tariq Woolen here, as I as I have the Seahawks also winning. I don't know what frequency we got going on here, Jacob, but yeah,
Hey, man.
You guys are
I'm
on
going-
point
Same page,
together.
bro.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on here. I'm going I'm going with Seattle though. I think they looked okay, but I think this is a well coached team, and I think they can do good things on defense against A-Rod. And part of the reason why I say Tariq Woolen is I think if you can take away, you're not gonna take away DK Metcalf, but I think if Tariq Woolen has a bounce back game and has a good game against DK, I think it really limits the Steelers offense, and that's what I'm looking for, to have Woolen and DK matchup.
Yeah.
I want to see the Seahawks run the ball 27 times. I want to see Zach Charbonnet have 16 carries. I want to see Kenneth
Yeah.
Walker have 11.
Yeah, exactly. Totally on with you on there.
All right, very nice, very nice. Next up, the Super Bowl rematch between the Philadelphia Eagles, coming off an extended break because of the Thursday night game against the Kansas City Chiefs, who played on Friday. This could end up becoming a thriller, or this could become something similar to what we saw in the Super Bowl. Jacob, you seem so excited. Let us know what you got.
You know, there's only so many times that you just get to smile and enjoy life. And with how my last month has been and how shitty this year has been, it is so beautiful to know that the Chiefs are going to be 0-2 to start the 2025 NFL season. Give me the Philadelphia Eagles by destruction. They can win doing whatever they want. I do not care. Player to watch is whoever the fuck Nick Sirianni decides. That's what I say.
All right, all right. I can't say I don't love it. Vitor.
Don't we break the frequency here, Jacob. I don't want to.
Oh,
Yeah, I hope I'm wrong. I hope I'm wrong for your own well-being, according to your speech. I am taking the Chiefs here. I don't see Andy Reid getting his ass beaten by the same team twice in a row like this.
His
Of course.
former team twice in a row.
Yeah, exactly. So I do think Chiefs are going to be well prepared for this game. I think they're going to have some. I think their blood's going to be boiling for this game.
I don't think
Uh,
the Chiefs' offensive line can game plan good enough to beat the Eagles' D
and
line.
that's exactly
I
why I don't expect a lot of big plays. But I think Hollywood Brown's going to be catching some quick passes, man. I think that's a guy who
and getting
really.
tackled immediately.
Listen,
Cooper
I don't
DeJean,
care.
Quinyon Mitchell, they're gonna be fast to the
Listen,
ball. What the
listen,
fuck?
listen. Andy Reid's going to game plan the fuck around Hollywood Brown this game. He's going for like 12 catches, like 90 yards or something, but they're going to be able to
I
move the
hope
ball
so.
with
I have
him.
a lot of Hollywood Brown stock in fantasy, but the fact of the matter is Patrick Mahomes' deep ball has been the 32nd best deep ball in the NFL since
I just told
2022.
you. I just told you it's not going to be the deep ball.
Quick passes. And you know
He
what? I think Vitor's got a great point here with Hollywood Brown because Hollywood Brown, as soon as Xavier Worthy left the game, the third
He had a
play
lot
in,
of volume.
he
Had a
had
lot of
he
volume.
had all of the volume almost on this
Yep.
Kansas
had
City
like
receiving
11
offense.
targets.
Yeah, 11
Yeah.
receptions, I think, or maybe
Oh,
it was
wow.
11 targets, but somewhere in that ballpark, right? And I think
Yeah.
that based on the Eagles, one of the Eagles' weaknesses in their secondary is their second outside corner spot, outside of Quinyon Mitchell, and I think that the Chiefs and Andy Reid are smart enough to take advantage of that weakness, and so I could see that being a
Yeah.
very productive thing. But for me, I'm still taking the Eagles. I think they're the better team in general. I already had the Chiefs going 3-3 to start the year without Rashee Rice. Now that they're going to be missing Xavier Worthy for some time as well, that just kind of vindicates my point even more. I think they're going to have a really slow start to the season, and I think Mahomes is going to be the most impressive player on the team. Once again, he was last week, but couldn't get it done. He's only one player, right?
Yeah.
Player to watch though, I'm looking for AJ Brown, Devonta Smith to similar to what Jacob said. Listen, anyone that Nick Sirianni decides, but I need some of these guys to get involved offensively. If the Eagles really want to win and pound them, they're going to need to get those guys involved.
The Eagles could give Tank Bigsby 12 carries and he would have 85 yards. I genuinely think that.
All right. So I've got the Eagles. Final AFC versus NFC matchup. We got the Tampa Bay Buccaneers at the Houston Texans. And this is on Monday Night Football as well. We have 2 Monday Night Football games this week. Man, the Texans really let me down offensively last week. The defense was lights out, but offense was super inept, and that was troubling. But the Buccaneers look every bit as good as they probably should be, roster wise and entering the season. So I'm going to take the Buccaneers again. I think Baker stays poised against a really strong secondary. That would be my one concern. But Emeka Egbuka was really fantastic last week, and they really didn't even utilize Mike Evans to a certain
Is
degree.
Derek Stingley even going to play?
I maybe. I think so, actually.
That doesn't matter for Egbuka.
Well, I mean, yeah, I guess for stereotypical matchups like that. But regardless, I think the Bucks have more firepower on offense, and I think their defense is still solid enough, especially, again, against the Houston offense. I'm taking the Buccaneers. This is also going to be my survivor pick of the week.
I was just going to say this. To me, it screams horrible matchup. I don't really see how the Texans can truly exploit the Bucks here. It's probably going to take a CJ Stroud masterclass or something. Don't see a reliable path to victory here for the Texans, especially with what they've been displaying. I'm going to go with the Bucks here in a comfortable win, like 10 points. I'm probably just looking at Irving, man. I think Irving can really abuse that defense.
Yeah, I think that this is going to be another clear win for the Bucks here. They're just a better team. You know, it's always good to see an OU quarterback go out there and beat an OSU quarterback, so I can't complain there. I would say the guy to watch for this week is going to be either Kalijah Cansey or Vita Vea, whichever one can get more pressure on CJ Stroud, because I think that's what's going to force him into throwing some interceptions.
Yeah, and collapsing the pocket from the inside, right? So that way he has to flush
Yeah.
out and throw off platform, out of structure. Yeah, 100%. I love that pick. All right, now final stretch here on.
Also,
the NFC.
Hassan Reddick looked really good against the Falcons too. He was a sneaky good player last week.
Yeah, and it's nice because we kind of like left the limelight after last season. Yeah. So moving on to the NFC games, the first game in the NFC slate here is Thursday Night Football between the Commanders and the Packers. If you were here for the tier list, right? So you know that both of these teams played really well, and one of them is in our top tier. The next one's in the just a bit lower. And right now, I'm gonna have to trust the team that proved a little bit more to me defensively, I think, in week one, and that would be the Packers. They were more lights out, not by much, because the Commanders also played a really solid defense, especially on the run defensive side against the Giants. But the Giants were also just inept offensively; they couldn't get anything going.
Yeah.
So I'm going to take the home team here. It's not going to be a crazy victory for the Packers or anything. I think the Commanders will maintain pace with the Packers offense here, but I'm looking for Matthew Golden to get even more than what he got last week. The couple times he got the ball, he was pretty impressive, and I want to see more of that. So Matthew Golden's my X Factor player.
I am really high on the Commanders and their ceiling.
Wait, real
I
quick, Broofy, before you say anything, you're gonna pick the Packers, and your star player is gonna be Micah Parsons.
no, both
Oh,
Damn it.
wrong. Both wrong.
oh,
I do agree the
Thought I had
Packers
you.
are more one-rounded and they have displayed more as far as week one goes. But like I said, I am confident on their ceiling for the Commanders, and I'm gonna go with the Commanders here in a shocking win. I guess Packers and Lambeau, they're clearly
Not
the favorites.
shocking.
Not shocking, but um,
Upset.
people look at the Commanders and they think they're one-dimensional in how they play, and that's why I'm looking at JMC maybe really bring the running game to Washington because I don't see. I see Washington winning. That's why I'm picking them. But I don't see them winning by Janet Daniels throwing the ball 40 times. Mike is going to get to him eventually, and he's going to get pressure. So I'm looking at that running game to make his side easier a little bit.
okay, Jacob.
Packers are a team that does not have the identity that we are used to them having. They are no longer the team that is they are West Coast offense, but they are not running the ball down your throats and working heavy off of the play action. That is not what they are anymore. And I think that is a little bit to their detriment. I think that Jordan Love could get himself into trouble here. Maybe play a little bit of too much hero ball against a really high quality Washington team. And I think that Jordan Love's ego or maybe his playing style could get in the way of a win here for the Packers. So I am going to be
Okay.
picking the Washington Commanders as well. And my player to watch is going to be Terry McLaurin.
Nice.
Are we resyncing our connection?
You guys, maybe the chakras are aligned again.
Yeah.
But we'll find out what's going to happen with this next one. The Giants at the Cowboys. Vitor, let's hear it.
I'm sticking with the Cowboys. Giants from 7. They could make some issues there, but just not enough for me to quite pick them. I think Cowboys get on the board in the win column here. I again don't really see how
I
the
think
Giants.
this is the best survivor pick remaining. Honestly, it's the Cowboys by far.
Yeah, probably. Honestly, I'm looking at Bland here. I'm kind of confident Bland gets at least one INT here.
Is this going to be your survivor pick?
If I could play.
You can. There's
You
a
have one
revive.
revive, yeah.
Alright, cool. Yeah, probably my survivor pick. Yeah.
My player to watch for the Cowboys is going to be Osa Odigizua. I'm really feeling the D lineman right now.
You're feeling the D.
Okay.
I'm feeling the D. Fuck you, dude.
All right. Yeah, I'm taking the Cowboys as well. And this player to watch might completely backfire. But look, if Jackson Dart is starting, my eyes are glued because I'm interested. So I'm hoping that is
Okay.
the case. It probably won't be the case because Daboll
It won't
is
be this
stupid.
early. They would have announced it by now.
Probably, yeah, but I'm hoping that happens. If it doesn't happen, I guess my other player to watch is going to be Javonte Williams, because they were running the ball really well last week, super effective. Part of that might be because Jalen Carter was missing, MIA in that game for an obvious reason. But I want to see him on another test here with a really solid defensive front in the Giants.
Real quick, one last comment on the Cowboys. Did either of you notice when you were watching the Eagles versus Cowboys game that the first offensive snap of the Eagles was a pass completion to the guy that Kyrie Elam was covering?
I didn't see that.
No, I didn't.
Yeah, that shit had me rolling, dude. Because I was looking at underdog picks or whatever, and Kyrie Elam's like solo tackle number was 2.5, and I'm like, low key, he would hit that because he just allows completion.
No, yeah. Yeah, I hear you. All right. Next up, my team, the 49ers, going up against Jacob's team, the New Orleans Saints. This actually has become a really tough one to pick because of the 49ers injuries. George Kittle's on IR. Brock Purdy is now unlikely to play this week with his toe injury. So that is a
Really?
real major cause for
Oh,
concern
yeah.
there.
Unlikely.
Yeah.
I read it was questionable. Now it's unlikely.
Today it was announced that it's unlikely. Kyle Shanahan said that. So yeah,
Oh my God.
that's a real cause for concern. Mac Jones is going to be the starting quarterback.
It's real cause for concern for Jacob. That's what it is.
Yeah, dude, I was actually gonna say I'm picking the Saints, but I'm not happy about it, dude. I don't want us to win.
Yes. Okay.
Give me
Well,
the Saints. Player to watch is Spencer Rattler, but holy shit, I do not want us to win. Please choke.
yeah. I'm still gonna be a homer. I'm still gonna pick the Niners. I think they have a much better roster in general, and I'm looking for the defense again to make an extra play here. D. Winters was my stud of the week last week, but I'm going to look for another guy here in Marcus Siegel, who had a very impressive first game of his NFL career as a rookie, and I want to see him perform in this one to a high level as well. Maybe potentially get an interception in this game.
I think this is the hardest game to pick of the week. Oh wait, sorry, Briefly still has to go. My bad.
Okay, sorry. Might be a very boring thing what I'm about to say, but I'm going with the Niners as the better coach team, and the reason why it's boring, I'm going to say CMC. No Brock Purdy. It's going to have to be through him.
Yeah.
And yeah, I'm going to say Niners. Again, I'm going to say a game-winning field goal. Eddie Pinheiro making his name.
Yes, please. Maybe a return touchdown too. Let's make it happen.
Yes.
But yeah, so
special teams are alive.
you're totally right, though. They're going to have to just play it through the run. Don't do anything complicated for Mac Jones. Nice, quick passes to Jennings, to Pearsall, to Kendrick Bourne, who we just signed, to Jordan Watkins, who's healthy, who is a rookie receiver. Like, they have a lot of potential here for just a nice, easy win without doing anything crazy. So,
Yeah. Now, this game is extremely hard to pick,
It
like
is.
Jacob was saying.
it is.
Chicago and Detroit. In Detroit, I still, to this moment, right now, don't know who I'm picking. With that
I
being
also
said,
don't know who I'm picking. I think I'm gonna go with the Bears, but I think it's just out of vibes, dude.
I'm gonna go with Detroit. I think they figure it out a little bit more in week 2. The ending for Chicago really scared me. I have no confidence. Is that how the game is gonna start? And even if Caleb starts well, is that how is he gonna finish? I'm gonna go with Detroit here. I don't think they have 2 stinkers back to back, and if they do, then I'm gonna start worrying. That being said,
I might be the first one to hop on the Detroit train of being really bad. I think they might be stinky.
I'll give him a few weeks for that, but it could happen. And I'm gonna look at Brian Branch here. I love his play style. Complete dog, can make the extra play.
I am gonna be riding with the Bears here. My player to watch is obviously gonna be Caleb Williams. I mean, he's gonna be the guy who determines whether or not this is a win. But if you look at this team last year, Thanksgiving, they almost won. Like, it was purely Matty Eberflus's mismanagement that cost them that game against Detroit.
Yeah.
And now the Bears are significantly improved, regardless of if they're a good team or not. They are significantly improved for what they were last year. They're like, roster is 10 times, not 10 times better. The roster is a lot better. Coach is a lot better. Detroit's roster, it's good, but those players are a lot worse now that they don't have Ben Johnson coaching them. I mean, Jahmyr Gibbs didn't look the same. Jared Goff definitely didn't look the same. The whole offensive play calling seemed out of whack. Like, I could see Ben Johnson going in there. He knows everything that offense is going to try and run. Their defense could genuinely put the Lions in a bad situation, and I could see the Bears having a really good run game lead them to the win. But I don't know. I think the Lions might be like a 6-win team this year. I think they could be that stinky.
It can't be that bad, dude.
I think Jared Goff has a really low floor on a year-to-year basis if the O-line and everything isn't in a good situation.
Yeah.
And I think that's what we might see. is Jared Goff with a low floor.
I think Jared Goff is exactly how people think Brock Purdy is, but it's just not true, and it's completely flipped around. Where Jared Goff really needs a
Yes.
perfect situation, and now he doesn't have it, and he might just be a Ben Johnson merchant. And we have to see it to believe it, right? At least I do. But we are all picking the Bears. I can't believe that we're actually doing this, but we're all picking the Bears, and it's really tough to pick against the Lions.
I picked
In
the
this
Lions.
week, it's what?
I picked the Lions.
I thought you picked the Bears. That's my
Yeah,
fault.
he definitely picked the Lions.
Oh,
I picked the
okay,
Lions.
okay. My mistake. My mistake. So yeah, I'm gonna pick the Bears though as well. It's gonna be a super tight game, I think. And as long as this Bears offense doesn't choke the game away again, I think that Jacob, you make a perfect point about Ben Johnson just having this, having the idea of what is going to be successful against this Lions defense, and they're going to have it written up that way. And yeah, nice revenge game from Ben Johnson. Looking at DeAndre Swift, make it happen.
And it's going to be the same exact defense too. I mean, they brought in a guy who is not under the Dan Campbell tree, but like has been in Dan Campbell's same coaching staff, or Dan Campbell was in his coaching staff. So it's going to be the same system. Like their defense isn't much different.
Yeah. All right. Last but not least here on our list here, we got the Carolina Panthers at the Arizona Cardinals. Jacob, let's hear it.
Give me the Cardinals. They're the better team with the 5'10" quarterback. I said earlier on the show, I think Jacoby Brissett might give them a higher ceiling this year. But overall, I think they're just the better roster, better team, might be better coach team, honestly. I really like Jonathan Gannon. I'm still a fan of him, even though he is on the hot seat. And I do think that their defense could put Bryce Young in a situation where he's playing bad like he did last week. But it just depends on if this young Cardinal secondary can keep up. Player to watch, Max Mellon.
Cool. I have the Cardinals too. I was really disappointed with Carolina last week. It's a team that was higher than most going into the year. In
We all picked them
Arizona,
to go to the playoffs.
Yeah, we did.
I know, horrible. Of course, still week one. And I think Kyler and Marvin Harrison are building a nice connection. Consistently scoring touchdowns, and I guess the Panthers defense that was really underwhelming. Last year, I'm looking at the J.C. Horn and the Marvin Harrison matchup, and I think Marvin Harrison might take the best of it for this week.
Okay, yeah. I'm taking the Cardinals as well. You kind of took every word that I had out of there. Yeah, super stinkers, the Panthers last week, and really unfortunately so. The only ingredient that they have for a victory here is if Bryce Young can actually play like his second half self of last season. If that's happening,
Or if Kyler just fucks it up.
if Kyler sucks as well, but if that happens, then like this is the Panthers team that I picked them to go to the playoffs for that reason, right? Because Bryce Young really figures it out. He's got, a nice X receiver in Tethrow and McMillan. So all that stuff. If that can all gel together, I can totally see them winning the game. That way, for that reason, Bryce Young is my X Factor player, even though I'm not picking the Panthers.
One last question.
Yes.
Not on a season-to-season basis, but on a game-to-game basis, I think Kyler Murray has the lowest potential floor out of any quarterback in the NFL for a game-to-game basis. I think that he has the most potential to fuck a situation up in a single game out of any quarterback in the NFL.
It can't be lower than Tua's.
I think there are a couple that are down there with him, but I could hear a bottom 5 argument.
Because Tua's floor, when he plays bad, it's bad, man.
Yeah.
Kyler is that way, though.
But,
Kyler will have
yes.
games where he'll have like 5 for 19 with like 2 picks.
But we
Like,
also talked about how when Tua's bad, interceptions come in bunches, and the offense can't get anything going.
Oh, yeah, they do.
Yeah.
Dude, the Tua Packers game is the great case A example of poor management all around.
Yeah, and especially that one because he was clearly concussed. They kept him in.
Yeah.
And he got 3 interceptions after that, and they just kept him in. Like, what are we doing?
Yeah, 100%.
They had Skylar Thompson, dude. They couldn't put him in. So
It would have been better. Like, the game was fine until that point,
All
the
right.
Vikings are going to
Hold on,
obliterate
hold on.
the Falcons.
Okay, that's fine. Say it again. Sorry.
Okay. The Vikings are going to obliterate the Falcons. I think that this is a potential breakout game for JJ McCarthy. The Atlanta Falcons defense is going to all year rely on two rookie edge rushers who are going to only get 40% snaps because they're still really, really raw. And unless they somehow hit unlocked potential, they're just the guys who are like raw but don't need that playing time that we all thought they would, and they just hit it ground running like that. Unless they do that, they're not going to be a good defense this year. I think Billy Bowman has a lot of potential as a nickel safety who can get a lot of blitz packages in, but I don't think that that's going to be changing your defense in a way that's going to affect the game result. So give me the Vikings to run all over this Falcons defense. I think JJ McCarthy is going to be bootlegging all over this team. I think he's going to have probably 5 or 6 carries for about 10 yards each time. And I think he's going to have a ton of first down scrambling. So give me the Vikings to win probably by 2 scores at least.
Yeah, see, I've got this one super close, actually. I think that the Falcons have a real shot at an upset. I don't know what the Vegas line is. I imagine it might be close, though. I'm not too sure, because I think that this game is going to be a really close one. I was really impressed with most of Michael Penix's game last weekend. Frankly, a lot of the Falcons' offense last week. Of course, it was stale in parts, it was slow in parts, but that's part of the growing pains of a young quarterback like Penix. He's not young, but his NFL career is young, right? So
the Vikings are -3.5.
Okay, yeah, that's probably reasonable. I think I'm picking the Vikings, and it's going to be by 3. In that range there. But my X factor.
They're pretty
player,
much only a favorite because they're at home.
Yeah, yeah, that's usually the home spread is 3 points. But yeah, my X factor pick is Jordan Mason here. If the Vikings can establish the run really early and be effective this time and actually balance it out and still allow JJ McCarthy time, at opportunities to throw the football because he needs that to develop. The Vikings can certainly win by more than 3, but I've got 3 points here. I definitely think the Falcons have a shot.
And I'm going with the Falcons. To me, it just feels like a Bijan type of game. Just a lot of volume, a lot of inside, outside receptions. I think he's going to be all over the place. And if not him, then Drake London at times. But obviously, I'm looking at Bijan. A lot of volume for him for this game, but super tight. And it's the type of game that if Atlanta gets a lead early, and McCarthy starts to get pressured off of it, starts throwing more, and then the pass rush starts to get to him a little bit more. Maybe it rattles him just a little bit more. He has a lot of poise, especially for a rookie.
I hear what you're saying. I think that if something similar to what happened last week happens this week, the Falcons definitely win this one. I don't think that they have that choking potential.
I think they have the better running game to hold on to it as well. So, yeah, I'll go with Atlanta on this one, but very, very small, maybe 2 points or 1.
All right, very cool stuff. Very cool stuff. How many guarantees did we have this week? We had
a guarantee in Buffalo,
Arizona. Arizona,
Dallas, Tampa,
Bucks.
Tampa, LA Chargers.
Did we have a guarantee in Steelers?
No,
I think the Seahawks.
Yeah, that's what
Bills.
I, of course.
I think we had 5, right? We all picked the Ravens.
Bills,
6.
We all picked the Ravens. Yeah, 6.
Bills, Ravens, Chargers, Bucks, Cowboys, and Cardinals.
Yep. Right.
I like those guarantees.
Yeah.
What is the most likely guarantee of ours to fail here?
To fail?
Yeah.
Something tells me the Raiders Chargers one.
That's probably what my pick was too.
Yeah.
I would say, I don't know. I think the Cardinals potentially are most likely. Bucks are also likely. I mean, the Texans are the only team that's a favorite against our picks.
I get there at home. I'm surprised they're a favorite.
Texans are favorites
based on last week's performance.
Texans are only. I mean, they're -2.5, but they are the favorite. Yeah.
That's too much, even for favorites. They shouldn't be the favorites at all. And even if they were the favorites, 2.5 is too much.
Even crazier, the Lions are 6.5 point favorites.
I get that. I get it. And look,
Yeah, that's a little
even
too
with my
much.
Bears pick, I can totally see the Lions like returning to form somewhat. I don't think they'll ever be the same without Ben Johnson, but they can certainly, get something going against again a more inexperienced team with the new head coaches, new coaching staff. Whereas the Lions still have that core with Dan Campbell and with those players. So that can definitely happen. I just got a feeling about the Bears this week. Like I did last week, and it royally fucked me, but
Mhm. Alrighty, that was our week 2 picks. Do we want to do an exit interview for how we did on the show today?
if you're conducting, cool. I don't know what this is
All right.
gonna entail, but let's do it.
Well, this is like what we did last time, or not last time, but we did it a couple episodes ago. So, like, Barufy, how do you feel about your performance last week on the NFL Pick Show?
Brother, I feel like it was booty cheeks. That's what I feel like.
What
I
what did you take from last week to change for your game plan for picking this week?
absolutely nothing. We raw dog. We just gotta trust your instincts.
We raw dog. You know what? We had a lot of the same picks, so I really like what you did to, keep it the exact
Either this is really
same
good for
way.
me or really bad for you.
You
It's probably really bad for both of us.
I think you guys had more of
Yeah.
the same picks last week too. I think I was lone wolf them quite a bit. So that's a little unfortunate for me because I did not perform too well on pick'ems. I did end up changing my pick to the Packers. Like I said, I was like super 50-50 and I changed it on Saturday. So I did end up getting that one right, even though that was our guarantee, one of our guarantees last episode. But like, even with the picks I was wrong on, I still felt pretty good about my ideas of the games, like the Texans at Rams, low scoring defensive game. The Jets almost had it for me. They almost had it for me. They were super impressive offensively, just clutch field goal by Chris Boswell, that seals it, so, but I felt good about that one still. Yeah.
Lovely.
No, I definitely feel good about how I did picks wise last week. I my cousin set up a DraftKings account, so he got like $300 in bonus bets. So he put together a ton of parlays, but I ended up betting on I think around like 43 to 44 legs total, and only 7 of them missed. So going 37 for 44 on my parlay picks, even though not a single parlay actually hit, I still feel pretty solid about that.
That's pretty
Nice.
good. So based on our guarantees, do we still remember which ones were guarantees last week? Dolphins we lost. That was 0-1.
Yeah.
Broncos won.
I
1
put
and
it in
1.
the chat which ones we lost on.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Did you put
So the
all
go
9 of them though?
I didn't. I only put the ones that we lost on. So the
Dude,
ones that we lost on were. Oh, I'm way too far back.
I
think.
am currently inputting my picks in ESPN. 'Cause I didn't do it before. And
Okay,
a
so the
lot of
coastal guarantees we lost on were Lions, Dolphins, and Texans.
Okay, so not bad. 3 of them.
Yep.
I'm inputting my picks now in ESPN for the pick'ems, and a lot of my picks are kind of underdogs according to ESPN Fantasy. I picked Commanders. 31% of people picked Commanders. 9% for Jaguars. I picked the Jaguars. 4% for Tennessee. I picked Tennessee.
Jaguars 9% is shocking. That's
Right?
that's a little ridiculous.
14% Seattle.
Really high on
29
the Steelers.
29 for the Colts. 28 for the Chiefs. 28. 18 for
Well,
Atlanta.
I mean, yeah, the Eagles are definitely gonna be the team that a lot of casual fans are gonna pick on.
18
Casual
for
fans are gonna
Atlanta.
pick the Steelers over the Seahawks, dude. Casual fans are not Seahawks fans.
I'm saying the discrepancy is kind of.
I don't think it's that shocking. A couple of them are, like the Jaguars one. That's a little shocking, but
Jaguars won. Tennessee 4. I'm clearly going with the big underdog there, but yeah.
big win if they do. Anyway,
True.
that'll do it for this episode of Coast Knows Ball. I hope you guys all enjoyed. Hope you enjoyed our week 1 analysis as well as our week 2 picks. We'll see how we did in our next episode here. Super excited for the NFL season. All 3 of us are, naturally. But yeah, thank you guys so much. Consider subscribing if you want to see more of it.
Peace.
Lovely.